You are listening to the Foamy Heads Podcast, where we discuss craft beer and anything else that accompanies a glass.
All right, we're back.
Yeah.
It's another day, another episode. It's going to be a damn good day. We're here with Aaron from Main Street Liquor.
Yeah.
What is up?
Hey. We kind of got started early. So we've been sipping on the Lagunitas Willetized Coffee Stout aged in rye oak barrels from 2020. Thank you, Aaron, for this one.
Aaron brought some bangers tonight.
Yeah, he did. This, I've been a fan of Lagunitas for a while, and I've kind of stemmed off from them for maybe 2 years now. So it's nice to see a willetized version. Mm-hmm. You know, I haven't had too many other stouts.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think most of the beers that I've had from Lagunitas have been either they're like, you know, most of their one-hitter series, the Born Yesterdays, the Lagunitas Waldo Special, the Triple IPA. Of course, Lagunitas IPA used to be one of those beers that didn't distribute here. And I remember, Mitch, when we'd go out, I went out west to California to meet up with an old friend of mine. He was like, "You got to try this beer. It's called Lagunitas." I'm like, "I've never heard of it before. Probably don't want it." It was good. I really liked it. That was back before Lagunitas was like in grocery stores.
Yeah.
You know, so it had been a minute, but
Tennessee was fucked up back then.
yeah, in general.
ABV laws.
That's right.
Aaron, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
Thanks for chilling with us today.
Yeah.
Give us a rundown about yourself.
Well, I've worked in the alcohol industry for 15 years. I've worked for 2 local breweries, and I have worked for 3 of the top 10 beer off-premise accounts in Tennessee.
Nice.
So, yeah. Currently working at Main Street Liquor. We are a top 10 liquor store account in the state of Tennessee. We are crushing.
That is
Yeah.
definitely not a lie. I went there for the first time tonight. Everything can be sold in singles,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Everything. Killer selection. I mean, like, I walked in, I remember, this is just a few minutes before we came over here, you know, kind of hang out at Smoker's Abbey, but walked over there and I saw Bearded Iris, and they had, you know, just, of course, it's all categorized when you guys have it, you know, East Coast, West Coast, and whatnot, but Bearded Iris, just tons of those, and then stouts and IPAs. It was great. Good selection. And now we're just chilling at Smoker's Abbey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shout
man.
out to Smokers Abbey and Nate
Yes.
and Josh and Brady and Jordan and all the homies for letting us set up here.
Definitely.
Very hospitable.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, always.
This is our 3rd time here, I think.
Yeah.
So,
They are all teddy bears, and with another great beer selection, and also the best humidor in town, for sure.
but yeah, they got Room 101.
You know what? I think I had room 101 back when I worked at the Smoky Cigar in Hendersonville, and that was some of their older stuff. But when Room 101 came out they started hitting these bangers, and what we're smoking on now is the 12th anniversary. At least, Mitch, that's what you and I are smoking. I hadn't had Room 101 in a long time prior to coming to Smoker's Abbey, so I think the 3 times you've been here, I've been here, and that was it. And it's been, if we're not smoking Room 101, we buy them to take them back with us. But Aaron's right. Killer selection. Humidor's great. Pipe tobacco is out of this world,
Yeah,
too.
I mean, everything they have is great. Again, like
Yeah.
one of the more eclectic beer selections too. They're not running Coors or bullshit like that. It's all
Right.
mostly fun sours, barrel aged stuff, great imports. Yeah.
And hop water. I think I saw hop water.
Hey, I just put a stack of hop water out by the door at the beer cave, man.
Yeah.
Hell
It's
yeah.
hot outside. You gotta stay
Nice.
hydrated.
That's right.
That's right.
To circle back to Lagunitas.
Yeah, man. I just polished that off. I'm catching up right now. And damn, I'm pretty impressed with it for just a coffee stout.
Yeah.
The willetized kind of flavors from Willet, it really kind of perked it up.
It was oaky to me.
Yeah,
Tastes
for
like
sure.
barrel. It's
Yeah.
good. It's good every year.
Then we just jumped over to the Dark Lord.
Dark Lord.
3 Floyds. Didn't get to go to Dark Lord Day.
Nah, and probably won't this year.
Yeah.
I don't want to drive all the way up just to pick up and come back again.
Yeah. That's what we did, right?
Yeah.
So we went in 2018. DJ and I went in 2018.
Yeah, you and DJ did
Yep.
2018,
And then we went
2019.
back and did the 2019 Dark Lord Day.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and at the end of 2019, so 2020 didn't really have a Dark Lord Day, but we did drive all the way to Munster to get our 4-pack of Dark Lord plus
Pros and
the
cons.
variant.
Pros and cons.
We walked away with beer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was all right. We paid a hell of a lot of money for it, but we walked away with great
Less
beer.
time spent in Indiana. So
Yeah.
That's right.
that's to think about. Like,
Yeah. Munster at that. There's really not a lot going on in Munster. I think Three Floyds accounts for like 35% of that entire city's revenue.
going on in Indiana.
And it happens one time a year.
Yeah.
I know they have to alternate their crops.
Yeah. And there's like giant wind turbines
Yeah.
and smokestacks.
Man, the turbines fuck with my vision every time I drive up there because I'm not around windmills much.
That's
so.
how I know that I'm getting close to Chicago.
That's
Once
right.
I
Well,
see
they
those
cause
turbines,
cancer,
I'm like,
so it's a
"All
good
right,
thing
I'm
you're
almost there."
Yeah. So it's just one of those things. But man, I should get a sign for people like it's okay, you may.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
But anyway,
Rock a piss all you want.
that's right.
Yeah,
So-
we're sitting in the back.
Yeah,
Smoking
the back.
out right by the restroom. So, I mean, there's going to be people that need to rock a piss. And
Yeah.
We should go super long for them and just
Come on
make them all
back.
wait. There's another restroom on the other side. If they don't know, they'll find out soon enough.
That's true. That's true. But I'm just stoked. It's almost end of the week. We're here to drink beer. We got a good selection here
Yeah.
as well to get through. And let's talk about this Dark Lord.
Okay.
We've cracked it. I think I tasted it. I'm not sure. I'm going to now though.
Yeah.
So
It's so this one is the 2020 Dark Lord. So obviously, Dark Lords are high enough ABV beers where you can just, if you sit there and let them age, obviously there's a half-life to them, but I can't remember the ABV on this one, but I think it was in the upper teens, 15-16%, something like that. But it's definitely one of those beers that you can age. And not that Three Floyds would release Dark Lord when it's not good, but obviously this one has had the least amount of aging on it considering the other Dark Lords that we have sitting back at home. So I know
Yeah.
I think I've got 2 of the 2018s left or 2019s left, and then like 1 of the 2018,
yeah.
something like that. So
Aging matters a lot less for stouts. It's just a matter of when do you want to kill the unicorn.
Right. It's weird too. I know with the brewery we had a Black Tuesday that was from 2010, maybe 2 or 3 years ago now.
yeah, 2 years
And-
ago.
Yeah, and that had a good 9 or 10 years on it. And we must have had it in 2020, early 2020. And it was just like rounded, smooth. It wasn't boozy anymore because they're typically super boozy.
Yeah.
But, that was almost the perfect beer for me. And then it snuck up and slapped me down. You know what I mean? It was 18%. Some are 20.
Yeah.
But it's nuts. And we've got one more of those. And it's
We do.
11 years now.
So it's the same. It's the 2010.
yeah.
Nice. Okay.
It needs to get drank. It's at the point of diminishing return now.
I had a 2017 50-50 Rye Cuvée
Ooh.
Eclipse yesterday. It was tasting pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, I got home and wanted something a little more girthy, a little more substantial than
Yes.
normal. So
Tell me about that one, because there's the different color wax caps. I know I've had some Eclipse beers before. I've loved every single one of them that I've had. They've always been they're the bigger one. They're not
Yeah.
quite this big, but I think
they actually did change their packaging. So this is the bottle format that they used to use, but like the ones last year are shorter, and
Yeah.
maybe the ones before that. It's like every year they do like one with like like 2 or 3 with an adjunct, and then they do others that are blends and barrel like in specific barrels. Like last year, Tennessee got the Elijah Craig 14 barrel aged. They got a 3-year vertical, which was a blend of their previous 3, and then we got a German chocolate one.
Ooh,
which is very
German
good.
chocolate.
I just got my pre-order in for this year's 50-50. I think they have 4 variants this year that Tennessee's getting, and I got a total of 20 cases coming.
Oh man.
Papa Bear stacks up.
Yeah. That back room, the whole store, man, it looks amazing. Just,
dude.
I love how everything's categorized and you got it all. There's a nice flow to it.
I think the people that don't really know a lot about beer, I think, are a little overwhelmed because it's not stouts with stouts and IPAs with
Right.
IPAs. But I'm just like, you just have to think about like, what are you looking for? Like,
That's true.
The region, like if you want like Old Nation, you go to the Midwest store and you're like, oh shit, Bell's, Three Floyds, you know what I mean? Like the whole shebang. For me personally, like I just kind of like that organization.
Yeah.
Because again, like if you start doing IPAs and seasonals and stouts and all that shit, obviously in August, your stout door is going to be pretty fucking empty.
Yeah.
And also, like a lot of stores around town have space allotted for distros, like specific distros, like Ajax gets this, Best Brands get this, Lippmann gets this door.
Yeah.
But like realistically, again,
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of that's like an old manner of thinking where basically stores would piece out allotments to distro specific distros.
Yeah.
But for me, like, there's a lot of distros in town that don't have fucking shit, and then there's a lot that have everything. So you can't really play that way anymore. Like the beer market's way too saturated for that.
Yeah.
And there's new breweries coming into town like every fucking day. Like tomorrow, I am getting my brewery and offshoot, so pretty excited about that.
Hell yeah! I think I saw a post from somebody.
Hunter just let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, he did.
I was gonna wait, and I was like, fuck it. Like,
Too late now.
I like that though. Hunter jumped the gun. Like, don't blame him. That's a big move for Lippmann bringing in the brewery. It's
Sure
like
is.
There's no barrel aged or anything like that, but they got like some good IPAs and some good gueuses and stuff coming in. So
Actually, I believe that was the one you had sent. You screenshotted and sent it over to DJ and myself, right? And we were like, "Holy shit, the brewery's gonna be in Tennessee."
yeah, the
That's
hope is
insane.
though is that they maybe if they sell X. Usually the way that it works is
Kinda like a trial market?
Yeah, like a brewery will send their cores out, and then once cores start moving, every now and then, like you can kind of get them to fuck with some limited releases. So I mean, it'll probably be a year to 18 months before we start seeing crazy brewery shit.
Yeah.
But like they got their foot in the water, so we can deal with that. It's better than nothing.
I feel like Burial did that at one point in time, about 2-3 years ago, where they just kind of like tested the waters. And I walked into Total Bev in Murfreesboro one day, and then I saw some of the regularly distributed Burial beers, but I had never seen them here before.
So before Burial like blew up really, really, really hard, there's a distro called Bounty, and they picked them up.
Bev, yeah.
But like Burial doesn't send a lot of beer. Like the main thing that Burial does is like do like guest taps at like Bearded Iris and Grist and shit. And with the 3-tier system in Tennessee, like Burial can't sell their beer directly to Southern Grist, so they have to license with someone.
Yeah.
So they license with Bounty, and then they
to the distributor,
yeah,
and the distributor is the one that
they ship their kegs to Bounty, but they also every now and then will, like send just a stack of cans just to make it. If you're sending a pallet, you might as well throw some cans on top.
Yeah. Right.
Usually though, it's the barrel that we get. It's not bad, but it's usually like surf wax and stuff like that. Like it's like again delicious beer, but it's not shit to write home about.
Right.
It's their regularly
It's their cores. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like.
So actually, it was something along those lines, and I can't remember what I was going to say. Something to do with Burial. Anyway, it's gone on me, but I do remember seeing Burial. Oh, I remember what I was going to ask you or mention. That the distribution system, the 3-tier distribution, that's changing though, isn't it? Isn't it coming up soon? Like
as far as Davidson County, I know that like it's a lot easier to self-distro if you're local.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, again, like we live in the buckle of the Bible Belt, and there's a lot of laws that keep this market from being what it potentially could be. I mean, when you go to certain places in the country that don't have the 3-tier system, like you could own a bar and fly and grab Russian River and fly it back to your bar and serve it. There's not a lot of places, like I think like New York City, like Brooklyn or, you know what I mean? Like there are pockets of that, but most places have 3-tier or worse. Like there's a lot of states where the stores are actually ran by the government, like ABC stores.
Yeah.
And that really, I mean, I think like maybe Missouri is like one of them, or not Missouri, Mississippi. Like
Mississippi would be.
Maybe Kentucky. Sounds terrible. Like having to buy your booze from the government directly.
Yeah.
Feels like they would be tracking my intake at that point.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong.
They're already tracking you anyway, Mitch.
I'm on Untapped. They know what I drink.
You have a cell phone. They're already tracking you.
True. Man, these Room 101s are going with this Dark Lord pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. What are you smoking on there, Aaron?
I actually have an Illusion original documents. Illusion's a great brand.
Is that this one right here? No, this is the other one that they mentioned. The Viaticum. Never mind.
Yeah, this Illusion's a solid brand. They do a wide variety of stuff. Candelas, Connecticut's, some more robust shit. Like they have a lot of fun stuff.
Candela is something I still got to get used to a little bit. I've had the barber pole wrappers.
You see the leaf and you're like, oh my god, like this is gonna taste like fucking grass trimming.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
but it doesn't.
It smells like I was telling him. It tastes and smells like more creamy and vanilla, almost almost like a chai kind of vibe. It's
I
like
can see that.
very unique. Yeah.
Alec Bradley makes a something to do with St. Patrick's Day. They call it it's some related to St. Patrick's Day, but they do
it's the double leafed. I think it has like I've seen them do it's like half Candela and half.
Yeah,
regular
they'll do the barber pole one where it's
Yeah.
kind of like striped, and then they
I know
do
that one, yeah.
I think they have another one that's just all
Alec
straight
Bradley
Candela
actually does
as
some
well.
fantastic shit.
Yeah. Alec Bradley was one of those. I used to have Alec Bradley. Of course, you can go into like Cigar International or whatever and get the bulk stuff if you want. But you walk into a cigar shop and get an Alec Bradley that's like nice and you know, the humidor has been maintained and things like that, and it just Alec Bradley's just hit right most days of the week whenever I'm smoking one. I haven't had an Alec Bradley in a while. I come to think of it, I need to go back and smoke some, but that was one of the very first cigars that I got onto when I started smoking cigars. When I worked at the Smoky Cigar in Hendersonville.
Oh, yeah.
At the time I was like, oh, Alec Bradley, and they make good shit.
What do you think of the Dark Lord so far? This is your first Dark Lord?
Yes, this is my first Dark Lord. It's good. It's rich. It's not crazy boozy, honestly.
I'm surprised about that because I think 2019 was.
It was.
I get a little bit of the dryness, I think, from the coffee. I believe there's coffee in it. I think it's it's drier on the end than I anticipated. It's not boozy at all. Good heavy mouthfeel. I like barrel aged beer.
Yeah, same. I
like
think
good barrel presence.
when I first started getting into craft beer, IPAs weren't quite the direction I wanted to go, and stouts brought me in after I had Belgians and some of those fruitier stouts and whatnot. But man,
Yeah, this one's 15%.
Yeah, I would never
That's
know
lower.
it's 15%.
Russian
No.
Imperial, no.
that's too.
No
it's
coffee
too easy.
adjunct. It's definitely roasty.
It's
got some roast to it.
So roasty's one of the flavor profiles
Yeah.
that people agree upon on
definitely-
Untappd.
definitely-
Thick, roasty, molasses.
Yeah, I can see that. Again,
little
like,
bit.
heavy mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Syrupy for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. Actually, believe it or not, I haven't checked this one in.
Huh?
Shit, have I even had this one?
Yeah, you have.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mitch.
yeah, you've had one. I forget how many between
Mitch
us
is
we
basically
shared.
band mom over there. You're good.
I like that. I might use that.
Band mom.
I do agree, though. I think that the ones we had prior to were a lot boozier than this
yeah.
one is. The 20, I guess it would have been the one that I remember sticking out the most would have been the one before this, which I guess would have been the 28 or the 29. Can't remember which one. Now,
Well, 2019's pink.
that's the one with the pink with the glitter on top,
Yeah.
right? The wax. Yeah, I remember that one being really boozy.
It was heavy.
Yeah.
I think that one had a slight percent advantage on this one too.
Okay.
I feel like I'd have to check on Tapped or something, but
I'll check on tap.
Had Dickel. The Tennessee Brew Works did their barrel aged porter in 2017, and it was with a Dickel barrel, and that was the hottest fucking beer I've ever had in my life.
Really?
It tasted
What
like
do you mean? The hottest beer, like
it tasted like they filled a barrel that had like maybe a handle of whiskey left in it.
oh wow.
Yeah, but I didn't cellar it at all. Like it was given to me, and then I cracked it like 2 days later. It's like the hottest fucking beer I've probably ever
had
tasted.
a big bite to it at the end.
Yeah,
of
but they released the 2020 or last year, and it was fucking delicious. So I guess they figured it out. I don't know. It was a super wet barrel. It had to be.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about that. Like, I don't think I've had a hot beer in that sense of it still had that much strength from the barrel to
Yeah.
it. And I'm not like seeking that out.
No,
I'm not putting that out there
that
to
was
find.
not like that was. I mean, again, like nothing against Tennessee Brew Works.
Right.
That was like that was a chore
Yeah.
to drink. Again, like that's where, the 2020 Dickel Porter was fantastic, but the 2017 was straight up the hottest fucking beer I've ever had in my life. It was like drinking, like, because it tasted like bourbon, but it had the consistency of a stout. It was basically like drinking a fucking glass of whiskey with milk in it.
Yeah,
basically.
I could see that.
I couldn't do it.
It was a lot.
If I'm gonna have like a barrel aged stout, whether it be bourbon, whiskey, whatever the case is. I like bourbon barrel flavor, but I like it to be muted a little bit. Like I like to know that it's there, but I don't like getting kicked in the face with my bourbon barrel stouts.
I love the oak and like the barrel booziness. There's certainly a limit, and there are not a lot of beers that cross it. That was it for me. I mean, even like barrel aged, like the Hop and Frog Chorus. Chorus?
No, I haven't had that.
17.5%, I think.
Whoa.
And
that's stout.
Hop and Frog does that though.
Yeah.
All their beers are just like super high gravity.
over the top. Every single one of their beers are over the fucking top.
And
Damn.
they're not cheap either.
Yeah. No, they're not.
They're proud of their beer.
It's craft beer.
And there's a lot of stuff in the store that I'm offered so much beer all the time, and like there are some things that even if I would drink them, like I have to pass on. You know what I mean? When you think about the amount of pumpkin beer that I have, then like their distro offers me the Hop and Frog barrel aged pumpkin beer that's like $150 a case, so it's like $25 for a 4-pack of 12-ounce cans.
Yeah.
I gotta like pass on that shit.
Yeah.
Like
A lot of their beer is just like very expensive, and like they make fantastic shit. Like it's not like me being like, no, your beer sucks, but like the average human being would like not be down with that. So
I think they even came to the point where they have the smaller, like don't they have the smaller like 6-ounce cans?
That's what the chorus is. Yeah, the barrel aged chorus. I think it's 8 or 8.
It's a smaller price point because they have to be.
It's like the size.
So
it's like the size of like a Starbucks double shot can.
Oh, that's I kind of like that idea, honestly.
For certain things, it works.
Yeah.
There's also that brewery in Florida. Fuck, it escapes me, but they did the Snickers Stout and the Decadent Stout. Oh, who is it? Oh, it's gonna kill me.
Decadent Stout. I think I know what you're talking about. It's not Evil Twin.
No. It's hold on. It's actually a Florida brewery, I believe. I would tell you right now.
Shoot, I've seen them on the shelf, and I see the label, but I don't see the brewery. That's how good a lot of people's labels are. Is you just typically match a beer with like
Ology.
the label, like
Ology. Yeah,
yes.
they do the. It's like they do a lot of like fun Berliner Weisses and stuff, but they started doing the 4-packs of the smaller format cans. And again, they're expensive, but I cracked the MIE and it's rich. There's a lot of adjunct in that. It's the fucking candy bar in a can because it's the one with like the label is the mock-up Snickers bar, but instead of Snickers it says MIE. Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to find. That's wild.
I can't say I've heard of it before.
I've seen it. I know
one of those
Ology.
random beers that made it to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Best Brands is always really good about picking up random shit. So
Best Brands. Yeah.
they're the ones that they do like Hot Butcher and every now and then Foreign Objects. Yeah.
I had their. I think it was like Blood Orange or something.
Oh, the Blazed Orange.
Blazed Orange. Yes. Holy shit! I sent one with you.
Yeah, that's like an orange creamsicle style beer.
Yes.
That was really good.
I love Hot Butcher. That beer has a lot more lactose in it than I prefer. Like honestly, you can kind of like miss me with milk sugar.
Definitely. That one was one and done for me.
Yeah.
I would prefer half of that. So the 8-ounce can would have been perfect for
Hot
me.
Butcher's like IPAs that don't have as much milk sugar in them though are absolutely fantastic. I love Hot Butcher. One of the breweries, my girlfriend's from Chicago. I spent a lot of time up there, and that was one of the breweries where I'm like, this shit, what? Like, and then lo and behold, Best Brands picks it up like 6 months later. But you don't see a lot of it down here even still.
What do we have any Dark Lord left?
Nope.
Oh wow.
We killed it.
We crushed it.
Fuck yeah. All right.
Between the three of us, it's very palatable. Like,
That's great.
I remember I was having a rough day, and I was just need a fucking beer, and I went and grabbed my pipe, grabbed the beer. I was like, I don't really have anything. I was like, I've got these old Dark Lords up top. I'm going to grab one of those. And I tried to drink the entire thing. I'm sure now I could, but this was a couple of years ago. And I kept drinking, and I could not finish that bottle of Dark Lord no matter how hard I tried.
Damn.
And again, it was one of the boozier ones, so it could have been the fact that it was just boozy or whatever, but it's a lot of beer. Like
it is.
That one can. It's not a lot of beer. It's a heavy beer. So you're drinking 16.9 ounces. I think it's 16.9 ounces of 15% Russian Imperial Stout. Oh, Mitch, that's awesome.
Well,
you see Liquid Death all over town. So Mitch just dropped Liquid Death cans on the table, and you see that shit all over town right now.
this is the sparkling water, but I'm going to use it as like a rinser.
Yeah. Yeah.
And feel free. I'm just going to pour this, and I think one of you already poured.
I already poured it into mine. It's gonna be fine.
It all
See one
works.
of those cups right there.
But
I got a question, Aaron.
Sure.
Actually, I want to circle back around to something that you mentioned a few minutes ago. You were talking about like what goes through your. Can I just pour some of this, Mitch, or is this one?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
It's the table water.
Table rinser.
What goes through your head? So, because obviously you're trying to figure out what you're going to buy, and obviously you talk about a passion for you want to always supply good beer. But then, we started talking about like Hop and Frog and some of these breweries that like they make really good beer, but that price point is just, kind of outside the norm. So what goes through your head when you're trying to figure out what am I going to buy that I'm going to like, but also has to sell? What's that methodology like?
Well, first of all, my bread and butter is being the store that I am. That's the rinse water, yeah. Being the store that I am, we're a top 10 account. I sell through, right now, like 60 to 80 suitcases of Bud Light a week, Mick Ultra a week, White Claw a week, Ranch Water. That's where we make our money.
Water. White Claws.
So to go back a little bit, like Main Street has been open since 1954.
Oh.
And family owned the whole time. They've never had a beer buyer.
Oh.
So when the tornado hit Nashville last year, it completely destroyed their building. They got a shit ton of insurance money. They bought out the building that was attached, or they bought out the business that was attached to them that was in their building. They expanded. Again, they've never had a beer buyer. So at this point, like 4 or 5 months after the rebuild, distro reps were basically just sitting whatever they wanted. Drivers were just plugging holes wherever. So I walked into there whenever Brandon, the owner of the store, actually propositioned me about the job, and I looked in at the doors, and every single door in the beer cave was like O'Doul's, Smirnoff Ice, like Bearded Iris, Diskin, Tailgate, Black Abbey, Tailgate, Diskin, you know what I mean? There was no organization whatsoever. Right. So with that being said, like completely redoing the store and generating the amount of foot traffic that we've gotten just from all the Airbnbs and Nashville being full Nash Vegas mode now.
Yep.
No doubt.
With all that being said, there still has like never been a true to form like bottle shop on the east side. Like not like, I mean, like I love Woodland. Woodland is like fantastic, and Sinkers is like a lot better than it used to be. But the reality is this area's never had a proper bottle shop. So you bring in craft beer and people start actually realizing that you have a good selection. They come in, but the reality is we're never actually going to be like the focused clientele like Craft Brewed or Woodland Wines. Like we sell everything.
Right.
So my job is to have the best selection possible, but there are some situations where realistically, if I pick up even a case of Hopping Frog, and even if I do singles, I have to assume that there are 6 people out there that would want to spend $25 on a 4-pack of barrel-aged pumpkin beer when they could just grab Southern Tier next to it. So it's the constant battle of like, do I want this? How many people would want this also?
Right.
And like, there's going to come a time, I think, where that store is going to get to the point to where people are going to know, and like they're just going to come in and buy it. Like we're going to get there, but as of right now, I think the reality is people just don't realize what that store is. Because again, I when I worked for Hollow Point Brewing, I went in and I sold my cans into there, and that place was fucking sketch. That store used to be completely different than it is now. So again, with them stepping their game up and bringing in new customers, we're gonna get to the points where we can bring in everything, but the reality is if it's going to be like $26 a 4-pack, it has to kind of be like 450 North or Southern Grist, you know what I mean, or Blaze, Energy City. There are a lot of breweries that, even though their beer might actually be worth that, that doesn't mean that it's going to move in my store.
Right.
Also, like the margins in beer are trash. It's crazy to me that breweries even fucking brew beer for a living. Like, it's bizarre to me because, again, when I worked for Hollow Point, we were a contract brewery, so we brew our Dunkel at Blackstone or Mill Creek, you know what I'm saying? And when you start thinking about all the overhead, like you have to pay someone to brew the beer, and then we have to pay for the kegs, we have to pay for the flats that the cans come in, we have to pay for the cans, the labels, the pack techs, all this shit. Like, you're making like 35 cents off a case of beer.
Yeah.
So
Off of a whole case?
oh yeah, it's you. There's a lot of
That's
breweries.
nuts.
Yeah. So again, with that being said, like it's the situation where money does matter. We ultimately are all trying to like pay our bills, and the last thing I want to do is talk to the owner of the store and be like, like, yeah, I've still got 3 cases of this $25 pumpkin beer when all the Schlafly and all the Southern Tier and all of the Elysian has sold through. It's a tightrope.
The question going to come back to you is, A, why did we order that $25 4-pack beer, and why didn't you instead buy more of the Schlafly Pumpkin Ale? Because it probably would have sold through, right?
But, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even though I bought 50 cases of Schlafly this year, and like I've already sold through most of it.
Man, Schlafly, that's a name for pumpkin beer for sure here.
Schlafly is the OG.
Yeah.
Schlafly is the OG.
I mean, I'm a fan of the Imperial Pumpkin from Southern Tier.
Yeah.
And, I get in these debates with coworkers and whatnot about pumpkin beer every year. And I'm like, we're going to talk like basic bitches right now?
Yeah.
But
Are we talking pumpkin spice lattes, or are we talking about beer?
But, so there's pumpkin beer out there I really do dig. And Schlafly was one of the first ones that introduced me into it. And it is more pumpkin pie-like.
Yeah,
So-
it has more of a custard kind of vibe going on.
Exactly.
I will be honest, I actually 110% hate pumpkin beer. I respect Schlafly for being the OG, and like I love like Southern Tier Pumpkin is like again like there are tons of like beers that have pulled their weight and like created something for other like breweries. You know what I mean? Like so it's revenue. Again
Right.
like we're all snowflakes. We're all different and unique and special in our own way. And like, I'm not a beer snob. Like, if we're at a party and you hand me a Schlafly Pumpkin, I'm not going to be a dick and turn my nose up to him. But
Yeah,
I
me
never
neither.
drink this shit. Yeah. But like when it comes down to it, and I'm spending my money. Like, I would never spend money on pumpkin beer. But again, with that being said,
Yeah.
I ordered 50 cases of Schlafly in July, and I'm down to like 20. So
that's
there's
awesome.
I'm about as enthusiastic about pumpkin beer as I am White Claw.
Yep.
And I'll also to pile on to the shit talking. Southern Tier's Warlock is probably my least favorite beer of all time.
No way.
It's too much. It's fucking too much.
Wow.
Like, I'm not-
Like too much pumpkin,
it's
or
too much everything, dude.
Ah.
Like it's just straight up motor oil with
see
cinnamon
that.
and zazz. Like it's just
get
it's
it.
motor oil with 3 fucking inches of zazz on top.
Well, there's a reason I only buy one.
It's just so much. I remember I feel the same way about Warlock I did now that I did when I like 10 years ago when I first tried it. I was like, oh my fucking god! Like
Yeah.
that's 3,000 calories. Has to be.
It
Has to be.
No,
Has
no
to
doubt.
be.
Yes.
The beer has to be 3,000 calories.
It's a fucking meal in a bottle.
It's like one of those pastries you get, or no fudge, and it's too rich,
Yeah.
but it's a treat. On my palate, it's a treat.
Hey
But-
man, again, we're all snowflakes.
Exactly.
We're all
Exactly.
And again, like alcohol's like a wardrobe. There's a
Yes.
time and a place for everything,
Yep.
and like every situation calls for something specific. And just for me personally, like you don't see my ass. You're not
Yes.
gonna trip over me to get to the pumpkin beer. That's for
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
I watch me get it this year and hate it.
No, it's
but it's one of those things. My palate has changed after
It
like 3
changes.
years.
Yeah.
So
no,
my
absolutely.
my selections are altering all the time. I'm more into like pilsners and all the classic Germanic styles. This like for the past year and a half, it's
Yeah.
been
It's
on
good
the
to see
rise.
imports do really well right now.
Yeah.
You see a lot of imports hit market again. Like Be United is sending us a lot of cool stuff, and Schneider Weiss just hit market
Yes.
again. So
Yes.
I've been drinking a lot of Aventinus lately.
Aventinus, by the way, I guess this has been maybe 8 years ago. I encountered my first Aventinus, or is that right? Aventinus.
I call it Aventinus. If it's wrong,
Aventinus.
then I'm foolish. So it's
I'm
okay.
American, so I get shit wrong all the time when it's from some
No,
other
you're
country.
American, so you're right no matter what. That's what it is.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever you want it to be.
But I didn't even look at the ABV when I bought it. I just got it because it had a cool label. It was a smaller like bottle and everything. Because
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called, but I picked one up and I drank it. It tasted amazing. Had a little bit of like fruit essence.
It's
to
a
it.
stone fruit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really bready, a lot of stone fruit. I mean,
Man.
the Aventinus and like Polliner, Salvatore, Eyinger, Celebrator, like those 3 beers are pretty much, I mean, like, at least for me, like the standard at which box or like Doppels are judged. So
Yes. And I knew if I wanted to get drunk, I was going to get a couple Aventinus. So
the cans are tasting good too. I mean, it's not, the bottles have always been great, but I mean, it's, you always, especially in Tennessee, where we're always like 10 or 15 years behind here.
Yeah.
And where I worked at Mountain Juliet Beer Co. in Wilson County,
yeah.
you see a lot of people that just, I'll never drink beer out of a can. What the hell's that? You know what I mean? It's just like still like, it's
Wow.
they're a little behind on the
That
times.
was me. That was me at one point. I was one of those like, oh crap, everything's out of a bottle.
It's not 1974 anymore though, man.
But
Like the canning, like the canning
changed.
science has changed
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah,
like
that's true, that's
your
true.
beer doesn't taste like the can that it came
course.
in, and if it does, it's the manufacturer's problem. It's not the actual canning.
But
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
But when I was in that style of like, oh, canned beers suck, bottle is better. Most of what I had was at the point where everything I would taste out of a can kind of tasted metal, metallic-y, aluminum or whatever. It's just, the science behind a beer going into a can, before they were lining them properly and things like that, and before science got better at it, it was just beer in a can. And there was for me personally, there was a noticeable difference. So I always gravitated toward the bottles. And then at some point in time, it probably was when like craft beer started gravitating towards like 4 packs of the 16-ounce cans, instead. And then all of a sudden you started to see these major breweries hop on board with instead of bottles. Like Dogfish Head was one of those for the longest time,
Yeah.
where they were like, okay, let's put our sours in cans and let's do 60-minute in cans and everything. I think when one of those major breweries does something like that, the rest follows suit.
For sure.
And then you have some of these breweries in Nashville like Bearded Iris that have never bottled anything. It's always been cans. So and slowly you gravitate towards cans, and now I can't tell you, I mean, other than shit, you know what, come to think of it, every single bottle that we've had here tonight so far has been every beer we've had has been out of a bottle, not out of a can.
Hey, we're
but-
getting to the cans.
We're getting to the
Give
cans
it
next,
time.
yeah.
yeah, but again, like I think that the focus has shifted more on freshness too, because you have
Yes.
to ask yourself like 10 years ago, like what kind of beer were you drinking,
Yeah.
and where were you buying it at, and how long did it actually sit on that shelf?
Yeah.
And that has a lot to do with it. Again, there's more emphasis on freshness.
Yeah.
That's a huge part of it as well.
Because that bottles do have that shelf life where it says cans is going to keep shit fresher.
Well, I mean, it's just, you have to look at it this way. I mean, honestly, cans, if they're done proper, should be better for beer than bottles,
Right.
because, well, like, beer's number one enemy is light. And, even an amber bottle is going to let X amount of light through. It has a lot more to do with the temperature that the cans were stored in
Yeah.
and the bottles are stored in, and that's where you're going to get a lot of your flavor issues from. And again, like any issues with the bottling line or packaging line is going to cause oxidization, or
That's true.
then there's a lot of nomad canning companies that don't do a very good job, or at least used to not do a very good job. But I mean, if you look at cans versus bottles, though, cans are easier to recycle. They're lighter, which means they're easier to ship, which means it costs less for
to
you.
distribute.
It costs less for the distro. It costs less for the brewery. Like there's as long as your canning line is solid, there's a million reasons why cans are better to be
than
real.
bottles,
And even barrel aging stuff, like there are double line cans. They cost more, but if you give a shit about your beer and you actually want a canned barrel aged beer, you have to fucking spring for the bells and whistles. You have to.
You really do.
There's nothing that pisses me off more than breweries that have cheap, shitty packaging. Abita being one of those, like the ranch waters, you know what I mean? Like, so Abita does ranch water, and they have like these, the little shitty cardboard packs with these little dabs of adhesive on them. Like that's like the bane of my existence. Every time I'll pick up a 6-pack of Abita,
The little pinch holes.
and the little thing will just fall. The cans will just fall out the front. I've just so often I'm this close to texting my Lippman rep, like, yo, I'm not bringing in fucking ranch water and anymore in 6-packs, and then I realize that I sell 20 of them of 20 cases a week.
Yeah.
It's like, again, this is my
Where's that line,
my own
right?
personal hell. This is my nightmare. I can't bring in the hopping frog, but I have to bring the shit that's actually going to give me an aneurysm. Like, you're gonna find me
Yeah.
dead in my bathtub.
You have to channel the inner Libra and lay it out.
it's-
Like, all right, fine.
I didn't know Abita made ranch water.
Yeah.
That's news to me.
Yeah, they actually do. Yeah, the Lone River Ranch Water is Abita packaging.
Okay.
They really hit pay dirt on that one. Abita hasn't been relevant in 20 years, and they
No.
fucking pull ranch water out of their ass.
I will say we switched to the coffee stout from Maine, the fall coffee stout.
It tastes very good, I will say. It never had a lot of coffee to begin with, like I said
No,
earlier.
No, not
Yeah.
at all.
For being a year old, this has actually held up very well.
Nice.
Again,
It's
I told
super
you,
easy to drink.
thin, roasty, silky,
Yeah.
like toasty. Like this, to me, it's
It hit everything about
It's
it.
more of a representation of like a traditional stout than like a coffee stout, and I've felt that way about it ever since I first tried it, and it was fresh. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to get, and it could be the order of operations that we went here, going from the Russian Imperial Stout of Dark Lord onto the fall coffee stout, because this is only what 5.6.
It's crazy, the difference.
It's super light.
Yes, like the light body after having like 2 barrel aged beers. Like this is going down like a fucking lager.
Yeah, really easy to drink. Yeah.
But it still has all those characteristics to it, though, that you can pick up
I can
on,
taste
so
all of them.
I feel
toasty.
I feel like I ate a chocolate, and then I can taste this one pretty good.
Yeah.
You know?
But then again, coffee stout. Aaron mentioned that there's not a lot of coffee flavor to it. I don't know if I get any coffee whatsoever. I do get some of the roastiness, I guess, a little bit at the end.
I'll have a new case of this in about 2 weeks. I think is when the next run around of fall comes through. So I'll be sure and set a bottle aside, and we can crack it and see if there's
compare.
How different. And I have a couple more bottles of this left, so we can do a side by side.
That'd be good.
Go hard on it.
I'm a big fan of this one. I haven't had it. I don't think I've had this.
I
one
love Maine.
before.
Maine can do no wrong.
Dinner, lunch, their IPAs.
I've got Wolf's Abyss coming in tomorrow. I got Fresh Lunch coming tomorrow.
Wolf's Abyss.
I'm trying to remember which
The
one
Keeper,
I had.
another one. All their Woods and Waters, all their shit's great.
They had a session IPA that was actually pretty solid too. I don't say that very often.
Post-Ride Snack?
Post-Ride Snack, yeah. Session IPAs for me are a little odd because, most of the time session IPAs just taste like hop water for the most part. It's very hard to get a flavorful IPA out of a low ABV beer.
My favorite low-cal session IPA is Lighthearted.
Bells.
Yeah, because it's like, it's 100% Centennial hop. It still tastes like a Two Hearted. And to me, Two Hearted is just always in the pocket.
Two Hearted is one of those that keeps winning and keeps taking people's hearts.
Bell's is one of those breweries that, for me, they've had very few 5-star beers. They've had very few of those for me personally, but everything that they do is consistent and at least 4 stars. Like across the board, Bell's is always, Lager of the Lakes is always my go-to. I love it. It's not shit that for me personally is just gonna blow your fucking mind.
Yeah.
But if you want a solid IPA, like American IPA, Two Hearted, duh. Lager of the Lakes, duh. Oh, Bell's Oberon. Bell's Oberon. Come on.
Two Hearted constantly wins best IPA. Every time you're looking at these best beers in the country or best IPAs or whatever, Bell's Two Hearted always tops the list.
Yeah.
And then they've got, double, what is it, double Two Hearted or double
Two Hearted.
Double Two Hearted, their double version, and you mentioned Lighthearted.
That's a chewy boy.
IPA.
Double Two Hearted, super resinous.
I've had it one time, and I remember it being a little bit of a challenge at the time because I wasn't I must have had a few beers in me or something.
It's more akin to 6 Point resin than it is Two Hearted to me. It's
6 Point beers. I remember resin.
Yeah.
They do a lot of really fun barrel aged stuff that you never see around here. They had barrel aged 3 bean and 4 bean and 5 bean. They had a whole series of barrel aged porters and stouts. So very fucking good.
Man.
So I'm just trying to figure out what to drink next.
It's all good, man.
Let's crack a sour, man. You want to grab that Tilkin you got in your hand?
Hell yeah.
Shift gears here.
Yep.
Ooh, yeah.
Did we go through all the stouts? I think we did.
We might have.
I think so.
Start out big.
That's right. Hey, man.
Coast in, coast downhill.
Yes, exactly. We're going to be ready to roll. I mean,
We really did. We went through, so we had order of operations. We started with Dark Lord Russian Imperial Stout.
Well, we started with the Willet.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's right. We started with the Willetized
Dark Lord.
Lagunitas, and then we went to the Dark Lord Russian Imperial
An
Stout.
11-month-old bottle of Maine Fall, which again held up very well. Tastes pretty good.
I liked it. I thought it was a
love
super
that
easy
beer,
drinker.
honestly. Again, I over ordered because I was like, well, I'm gonna probably drink 12. So now we're getting to our first
Damn headset. There we go.
our first Cajun cork here.
What do we have here?
Yeah.
So this is the actual Myrtle Savage. So this is a traditional lambic aged with blueberries, I believe. Yeah, wild blueberries.
I have found out lambics I can do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're not a sour guy?
I'm really not. Every single time it seems like we've talked with Highwire, we've talked with Wiseacre, we've talked with.
You guys talked to Emily?
Yeah,
Yes.
we talked with Emily. Yeah, she
Emily's
was cool.
awesome.
Emily's
my
dope.
homie.
She used to work at. I met her at Total
This
Bev.
cork in the mic here.
There you
Nice. That was perfect, by the way.
go. Actually, when we talked with Emily, when we did a Hardwire episode, she brought the 450 milliliter bottle of the
Flanders Red.
The Flanders Red.
Oh, she actually bought that from my store. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have
Emily is really good people.
Yes.
I've known
I
her
love
for
Emily.
years.
I've known her for a long time. Like she's great. She used to work for Blackstone.
Yep.
And then she also was the buyer at Stones River
Total
Beverage.
Bev, that's where I get my stuff.
Yeah, so I used to live at MTSU.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I went there.
Hey man, I used to live in Womack. You know, I used to live
Nice.
like on campus.
Hell yeah.
Even drunk on a bed, I can make it to the fucking KUC.
Yes, man. Dude, that
Repetition, right?
Yeah, right. Motor, muscle memory.
Muscle memory, yeah.
I mean, that muscle memory works great on that campus because it's flat as fuck.
okay.
I was there though when
No tripping, right?
they were still building on shit.
Yeah,
It was a nightmare,
same,
dude. So
same.
how old are you?
Good question.
Oh my
30,
God.
33.
Okay, see, we're the same age. So I was there from like 2008 to like 2010 or 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I graduated, I think, in 2012 or
And
something like
that
that.
whole period
Young
was just
cat.
nonstop construction. You know, like they were renovating Scarlet Commons
Yeah.
and like doing all kinds of shit.
I really battled against living on campus, and I
if it wasn't for
succeeded.
the fucking traffic, like
Yes.
Murfreesboro would be great, and the cops.
Cops
Murfreesboro would
suck,
be great.
yeah.
Well, the cops are all like college dropout bros, like they're like trust fund kids
Yes.
with like koi tattoos on
Yeah.
their arm, and they pull me over, and they're like 5 years younger than me, with their fucking koi tattoos, like trying to. I'm like, man, it's like really hard to respect you right now. Like, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to like give me. I gotta like switch gears here. Like,
I see you're not a dragon yet with that koi tattoo.
yeah, right.
Got to travel
But
upstream.
you know exactly what I'm talking about, man. Like Murfreesboro
Yeah.
cops are like a different breed, man.
Hey, I live in Murfreesboro. I can attest to that.
So
I can attest to that.
I've had the worst time in Mount Juliet. That's where I grew up, and I learned like in the previous year. Thank you.
Yeah.
They have some of I don't know the right words to put into it, but they have a huge police force.
Yes.
And it's one of the biggest in this Middle Tennessee area.
Old Republican money.
Yes.
And they do a lot of things to stop
Yeah.
beer from surviving there, which is a real bummer.
It
they do
is.
like Mount Juliet, Wilson County, like. So in order to have on-premise there, you have to have seating for 95. You have to have 2 public restrooms.
Oh, my God.
80% of your revenue has to be food, and even if you pay like for licensing through like a cable provider to like
Yeah.
syndicate television, like you still have to like go through the fucking city for permission and like pay a fee to them for it. Like they do everything they possibly can. And like breweries and strip clubs and tattoo shops are all considered adult entertainment venues.
Yeah.
Right.
So they do everything they possibly can to like prevent alcohol, and they're really missing out on revenue.
Yeah.
First of all, you have to realize it's like if you don't have a brewery in your town, people are just going to go to the other town. You know, they're just going to go over. You know,
Yeah.
even Lebanon is about to get a brewery.
Now that's surprising.
Yeah.
Cedar Tap.
Yep.
It's Cedar Tap. All right.
I think when
I'm
we talk about
skeptic. We'll see. It's on the square, and like I'm just thinking traditionally again. Like I've lived in this area for 22 years. Like nothing survives on that square longer than 3 years.
Yeah.
So if they're lucky, so I'm just like, you know, maybe it'll do good. Maybe, you know, I don't know.
I think it's about time that they do good in
Yeah.
Lebanon because I mean that area.
I think
is
the
getting
important
bigger.
thing is that someone opens up a fucking brewery.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they do good or not. What matters is like people are, oh shit, like
the precedents,
we
right?
can have nice things too.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
They need to push their law a little bit and like get
It's-
stuff in there.
exactly. And you know, I mean, Lebanon's stepping up. We're about to have 2 Whataburgers. That's a big deal. We just got a Popeyes. Things are
That's
looking
right.
good.
That's
Things
right.
are looking good. Isn't that
Step
tragic?
up, Popeyes. you're the little town that had like a Piggly Wiggly and a Hardee's, right?
Yeah. We probably still have a Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah. I remember talking to. I used to so I lived in Mount Juliet growing up. Well, I'm from Atlanta originally. First few years of my life, and when I was in 5th or 6th grade, we moved to Mount Juliet, and Mount Juliet Beer Company kind of came into play. And I used to go to Mount Juliet Beer Company. That was where I went to get all my homebrew equipment, and then that's kind of when I started getting introduced into the craft beer world. I was like, okay, there's some place close by that I can buy beer.
Yeah.
And I haven't been back there in years because just Mount Juliet's really not on my. If I'm going there, it's an emergency vet visit.
Beer
you know,
co's
for my
changed a lot
dog.
too, though.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been working in again like the spirits industry since I was 18. The first job I ever had was at a liquor store, and it's because one of my friends that was like 21 worked there, and he was like, "Hey, someone quit. I know that you were bitching the other day about needing gas money.
Yeah.
Do you want to work at the liquor store?" So I'm like, "Fuck yeah, that sounds
Hell yeah,
great.
why
Like, I'm
not?
like 18 years old. Like fucking
Yeah.
sign me up, you know?"
Yeah.
So. you know, like again, like with that being said, I worked at just basic hole-in-the-wall liquor stores for 10 years or so, and I moved from Murfreesboro to Lebanon. I bought a house out there, and Lebanon Wine and Spirits had just opened up across the street, and that was actually owned by the owner of Mount Juliet Beer Co.
Okay.
So I walked into Lebanon Wine and Spirits because, again, like it's walking distance from my home. I could walk out the front door and be there in 5 minutes.
Sounds like a good situation.
I was like, hey, so my name
You can stumble home if you need to.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, my name is Aaron, and like I'm going to be your new employee. What's up? And
you bought yourself in. You walked right into the job, right?
And we started talking for like 30 or 45 minutes, and he's like, you know, like I don't need anyone here, but like I actually, you know, own Beer Co. And I was like, shit, yeah, Beer Co. Like free growlers on your birthday, man.
Yeah.
Like,
What was his name?
Mike.
Mike. Yes, I remember.
Mike.
Real good dude.
Yeah, yes.
Mike's a killer guy. Yeah.
Mike's he's a people pleaser. He likes making people happy. So Mike was like, yeah, like I'm here all the time. Like you can go to Beer Co. You know, like.
I remember getting a free growler or fill on my birthday.
On your birthday.
Nice.
So so again, like I lived around Lebanon my whole life, and I knew about Beer Co. forever. At this point, it's been open for like 15 years. So on my birthday, even whenever I went to MTSU, I would drive to Mount Juliet to get a free growler of beer. You fucking kidding me? Like it's worth the fucking 35-minute drive just to get free beer in my head. You know,
you're spending $3 in gas, and you're getting a free growler out of it.
Exactly. So I was like, shit, yeah, dude. We started there, me and Joe, actually.
I didn't know they did that.
Oh, yeah. Joe, my homie, that's the 3 Floyd rep and one of the owners of Prost and Riot. He started there right when I did. And Beer Co. used to be a bait shop. Like, he used to be out there at 5:30 in the morning selling fucking minnows to, like, selling crickets and shit to fucking, like, fishermen. Like, he was...
Really?
Yeah, that was a bait. And the growler station... when he first got it installed,
I remember that.
It was like Corona Extra and Blue Moon and Sam Adams Boston Lager and Yingling and shit. Me and Joe went in there right when it was turning into a craft beer store. Like, you know, he was really pushing like tailgate, and the laws had just changed. It's like KBB, like the Kentucky Bourbon Pale Ale. He's throwing that at people's faces. So Joe and I, though, we were the ones that were there for like when Bearded Iris opened up and shit.
Yeah.
And that was what changed things, because whenever Homestyle came out, a couple of my regulars were, have you had Homestyle? I'm like, no, dude, I'm never in Nashville. I work out here 50 hours a week. I live in Lebanon. I'm like, I don't.
There's no, you can't get to Nashville.
I don't go out there very often, you know what I mean? And they're like, Bearded Iris, and what the hell's that? I never heard of that shit. And one of my regulars one day walked to his truck and grabbed a can of Homestyle and dropped it in front of me, like the old school packaging, you know, like with the old logo and everything.
Yes.
I cracked it open, took a sip, and I was like, God damn, this is the best fucking beer I've ever had in my life. And I called Mike, and I was like, yo, dude, there's this thing called like Bearded Iris. Like, I need you to like let me bring it in. He saw the case cost. It's like $65. It's like $14 for a 4-pack.
Yeah.
And Mike's like, I'm not bringing that shit in. Like, fuck
Who would
that.
pay $14 for a 4-pack?
$14 for a 4-pack. I know. Again, this is 2016
Who would buy
or 17. Like,
who would buy a
this is olden
4-pack?
time.
That was kind of the question.
Like, you have to just like, this is Mount Juliet, like fucking 5 years ago, you know? Like,
it wasn't. It's weird. It wasn't and was that long ago.
yeah, I mean, time.
That's a good point.
The alcohol industry is like the trend. It's so trendy. It goes so fast. Things move so quick.
Yes.
One day, soccer moms are drinking Pinot Grigio, then they're drinking White Zinfandel, then they're drinking Moscato, then they're drinking Pink Moscato, then they're drinking Red Moscato.
Yep.
Like the fucking market and just alcohol is so quick. So Mike was like, I'm never gonna ever bring that. What the fuck? And I told him, like, dude, like, if you don't bring this beer in, you are a fucking idiot. And, you know, like, now Bearded Iris is what it is. And, like, I mean, 4 years later, I guarantee you Homestyle is on at Beer Co. right now on draft. Like, you can grab that shit.
Yeah.
It's just one of those beers, dude.
They're killing the art game, by the way. Their cans look so killer.
They went from
They hired an actual market manager and an actual whatever the proper term is, and like I think that's like stepped. The way that they're handling things now is like fantastic.
Definitely.
Honestly.
Well, they're going from their styles that were already like attractive to the eye to cleaning it up and making it more just catching the eye with the name and what it's about.
Trying to remember the ones.
And everything they do, like for me personally, like stylistically, is consistent.
Yes.
Like, I love Southern Grist, but to me personally, like, I like Bearded Iris more. Like, again, they kind of dial back the milk sugar, which is a big thing, you know, like, Southern Grist does tremendous stuff.
They do, but
stylistically, again, like, Bearded Iris is, you always know exactly what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You know, like with their stouts, with their lagers,
Yeah.
like with everything. Their fruited sours.
What did we have from them that we just released a couple weeks? The Wanderer, was that from their? I think that was from their 5-year anniversary.
I still have every single bottle they've ever released. Like I still have like a one-man band, rat-a-tat, like
nice.
everything.
That was their 3-year.
I still have all that shit.
Wow.
Very nice.
Yeah, I don't know
feel
when
like-
I'm gonna crack it. I have no idea, but like it's like it's one of those things where it's just I mean, I am like a Bearded Iris fanboy because
Well, you have a tattoo of them on your arm.
I have 3
Yeah,
brewery tattoos.
nice.
Yeah, Bibco, Burial, and I got a
Yeah.
Guinness,
I see Burial,
I got
yeah.
a Guinness pint glass on my calf when I was like 18 years old.
Very cool.
But no, like they're the brewer, like dude, home style. Put Tennessee beer on the map.
Yeah,
like
really
Yazoo
did.
did their thing. Brandon Jones is great. I love Embrace the Funk. Obviously, Yazoo is like the fucking
They're the
Anheuser-Busch of
OGs
Tennessee.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like Blackstone too. You know, like fucking gold medal winner. I mean, I tried St. Charles Porter when I was 18 years old. You could only get it at a growler at the fucking brew house, and that was one of the craziest fucking beers I ever tried. The brown ale too. Like I never had a dark beer that was fresh. You know, like that was a different level.
Man, it was weird when we only had a few of those breweries out. And Yazoo, I was always okay with their beers, and I was extremely more excited when they started doing Embrace the Funk. And I went to that first sour, kind of like beer share and everything. And but I just Yazoo, like it brought me in, and then I kind of forgot about them for a while. And same with Blackstone, they had their place for a while, and then it went away, and then I just kind of fell off with them. But then I see their Black Bells every year.
Yep.
And that's still a big staple here. And
They also did a barista brew several years
I
ago.
remember that
the
one.
coffee stout
Yep.
was very good, actually.
They did those for a
That
few
sounds
years,
awesome.
didn't they?
Yeah, they did like
different
2 or 3 years.
variations.
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, Yazoo was definitely one of those. You know, they were kind of when Linus came in and Tennessee didn't have craft beer, and he's talking about and now they've carved out their Embrace the Funk, but
They're giving Brandon more of a platform, and like Brandon's like recognized, like renowned, like they it's not just their cores, like their barrel house is like just really making a name for itself.
Their new spot's pretty cool too.
Oh, it's great.
Oh, it's
Well, you and I
beautiful.
went there, yeah.
And Slowburn, I think Slowburn actually just closed down though, like the OG location.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I went there for the first time, honestly, like 6 months ago. I'm again so bad about getting out. I went out there, checked the spot out, fucking gorgeous.
Yes.
And then I was like, wait a minute. I've been here before, and I was like, "Is it Slowburn? Like fucking like right around the corner?" So it made it like even better. I love it. But they're gonna actually build a walkway down by the river.
Oh, shit.
So the new Yazoo Brewery, it's like right on the Cumberland.
I was wondering.
They're gonna build a steps down the hill, and they're gonna set up like a full riverside, because like you can actually see the Jackson and shit float down. You see like legitimate fucking boats. It's gonna be really
That's
cool.
pretty awesome.
They got to capitalize on that, and they've got great pilsners and other kind of like sour things coming
I think
out.
they're giving Brandon a proper like better barrel house too, not what he's got in Donaldson. I'm pretty sure it's like the next
Sweet.
move.
So I'm stoked to see Yazoo like getting back on the map after like the past 2 years, I guess it's been. But I mean, they've been doing the whole funk thing for a while, but people are. I think they're now more into it than they were 3
I
4
still
years
credit
ago.
like
It's different nowadays. Yeah.
I still credit import beer.
Yeah.
And just honestly, like, it's been import beer, and it's been like microbreweries releasing large format bottles again, because there was a time when bombers used to be very popular. But now I get like they're making a resurgence as well. So I think you're seeing like a lot of people appreciate imports, which means you're appreciating like the old world, like lambic and like fooder age style.
Yes.
So because people are noticing that shit exists, now they're starting to realize that there are domestic offerings that are like, holy fuck, like this is amazing.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And it's been great too, because like we had CBC here in 2018. And a lot of breweries actually dropped off a lot of really fun stuff, and distros still have some of their fun stuff, but they're like doing like close out like half price deals and shit, which is great because I'm able to buy fucking Brett sours that have been souring for 4 years at this point almost.
Yeah.
And I'm able to get them at half cost, so I can like stock my store with Jester King and Crooked Stave, and I can do it to where like you're paying $10 for a 750,
half the price what you used
of a
to,
fucking
right?
Frambois that's been aging for
Amazing.
4 years. You know, it's been great.
That's
yeah.
perfect.
So I've honestly just been raiding a lot of distros like inventory and just like, wow, like you still have like this blueberry Brett from like 2016. Like I'm fucking buying that. You know,
Bring it in.
yeah, and they've all tasted great. Everything I've opened. Best thing I've opened lately. Monday night's table of contents. It's a 2018 Brett table beer that they did.
Ooh.
And it's, you know, you fast forward 3.5 years later and the bottle's still crystal clear, like no sedimentation,
That's
like
awesome.
no fallout at all.
Wow.
And it's just straight up just lemon zest and like black licorice, like really earthy.
Damn.
Brett's been doing its job.
Sours, lambics, all that kind of stuff. Like I've always been real kind of iffy with those, and just going back through the episodes, you know, for the listeners, we're always talking about. There's always that joke about, oh, we're about to try a sour, and Mitch always loves going, okay, well, let's see if Richard likes this one. So, you know, it's always, every time we talk about sours, it's always a question of whether or not I'm going to like it. And I think I made a comment to Mitch, and this one's no exception. This lambic that we're drinking here is, you know, every time I try it, I go, you know what, that one's actually not half bad. And you probably remember me saying that. I go, I think it was that Monday night when we had that. When we had that sour from Monday night, and I was like, am I actually starting to like sours? Like I never thought I would say that before, but I think it's more due to the fact that it's like lambics I can do. Kettle sours are a little bit easier for me to do. Like the funky beers for me don't do it. But I'm warming up to the sours. This one's actually really good. What was this one called again?
This is the Tilken. This is the Myrtle. So this is actually the one that's aged with blueberries.
I was going to ask if there was blueberries in this because I taste a little bit of that on the back end.
Good sour, good juiciness.
It's
so good.
I get tart more than I get sour.
Yeah, I see that. It's not like straight acidity.
Right. I can do. I don't like the beers where I can drink. You know, when I drink one, I go, I need a bottle of Tums after it by any means.
There's a lot of beers where people are like, I don't like sours, and like, well, are you drinking like smoothie sours, or are you drinking like straight up battery acid? Because there are sours in between that
will
very
kick
good,
your
you know,
ass.
like,
yeah.
You really do. I haven't learned my flow when I have tons of sours available. And what I've learned is I need to start just small amounts on each one as I go through, and then settle on a larger pour when I'm ready. Because they will wreck you if you, depending what they are.
Yeah.
But this one's been amazing.
What's the ABV on this one?
probably 5.5%, 6%. Most lambics are very chill. Yeah, 6.5%.
It's a good one. I would love this with like.
Tilken's one of the best gueuzeries for sure. And again, it's like fermented beer off of grape juice, you know, like twice used grapes.
Amazing. It has a great flavor and just pungent blueberry in it. It's bright and very inviting, honestly. So I'm glad to have enjoyed this. Thank you.
This is what I like drinking with Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, yes.
Some turkey, man. I'm telling you.
Yes.
Some turkey
That would work really good with some turkey and gravy.
And a good
Hells yeah.
Good lambic.
That's what I'm talking about. And there is a little bit of
now
a
your
blueberry look to it,
Thanksgiving plans are
too.
locked the fuck down, man.
Yeah, that's right. I hate Mitch for the simple fact that he always gets me to try sours, and most of them I end up liking. I have a little bit of a story on that. So, Total Bev out in Murfreesboro.
Oh, yeah.
Brandon used to be the beer. He's now the store manager, but he used to rep. He was before Emily, so he used to do the beer side before Emily did. And every week I would walk in with my buddies from work, and Brandon was always good at. Oh, you had this last week. You know, he knows well. I actually got a text from him today.
Oh.
I still keep in touch with him. He still texts me whenever we get like new beer, whenever they get new beers in.
He takes care of my dad, too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
He always
to hear.
hauls shit back from my pops.
That's exactly what he does. He said, "Yeah, I'll put one back for you." And it's just I appreciate that kind of that friendship, you know.
Absolutely, dude.
But every time I'd walk in, he goes, "Okay, you don't like sours," and I go, "Yeah," and he goes, "I have a couple on tap," and he would always give me two, and it'd always be really weird end of the spectrum, and I would take a sip, and I'd go, "Oh, I hate both of them, but I hate this one less." So then next time I would come in, he remembered that, and he would go, "Okay, let's move you a little bit towards this way." So it kind of became a game that every time I walk in, if I was going to buy beer, I was going to have to try a fucking sour off the tap before I bought it, and it was really I never really ended up loving any of them, but it actually brought me in towards a little bit. I think my palate kind of got adjusted to it, where it's like, I know what I'm about to experience. And that's kind of where I locked in, like the kettle sours, the lambics, like the ones that are not straight I think battery acid was the term you used, and that named it best. Like, I can't do those. The funkier, the worse for me.
I mean, I'll be real.
But these are good.
Sours are an acquired taste anyway. I mean, the first time that I drank one, I was like, it tastes like I just threw up in my mouth. Like, it's like the acidity, like it just felt like
it hangs in your mouth in the end, and you're
but
like,
again,
oh.
like there's good sours and there are bad. So maybe some of the sours I had at the time like weren't fantastic. But I mean, your palate changes and you're able to sift through, the acidity and like see like the actual, beer.
One I've been.
But lambics are always much more chill than a lot of like just wild Bretts and shit like that. So
one beer I've really became a fan of was 3 Fontaine.
Yeah, 3's great. Cracked it open. We have a 3 Fontaine Blonde right here.
Oh hell yeah! Sweet. I just rinsed.
Did you even know that was happening?
Well, I heard it, I saw it, but I didn't know which one it was. So.
I actually got this at Woodland. Yeah, Saturday mornings that I work, I always walk over to Bongo and get coffee, and I always try to at least like pop into Woodland and buy a bottle or two.
Nice.
So I noticed that they had 3, so I'm like, it's $4, easy decision.
It looks like it's ready for us.
Yeah, they had some Boone too last time I was there.
It's got its white rock in it. The foam it's shooting out the top.
It's ready, right?
Yeah.
Switching over from stouts initially, and then we kind of moved to the sour end, or like the lambic end, and now we're kind of moving into the blonde ales.
Yes.
Yeah. I think this is kind of a good order of operations. Usually when I would drink, I would go blonde, and then of course sours really wouldn't be part of my repetition, but I'd go from blondes, and then I'd go into stouts, and then I'd go into IPAs. But it kind of seems like we're starting with the IP or with the stouts, and then moving into sours, and then blondes, and then we'll be ramping our palates back up at the end, kind of more towards the IPA route to demolish our palate. But this one, I've never had this one before.
Anything that Fontaine does is gold.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
Another brewery that you just don't see around here anymore. I believe they're distro by Sheldon Brothers with Cantillon. So when Sheldon Brothers dissolved, there's a lot of beer that you just can't get in America right now.
I've had my first Cantillon like maybe a month ago now.
What you think?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I've heard only good things about them, nothing bad, and that one beer definitely continued the trend.
Cantillon's fantastic.
Yeah.
Again, it took me years to get into sours for sure, but you start to realize really fast where the quality is.
You know what? I think when we went to Barrique, and we had their clean beer, so like their pilsners, and they lager everything, so pilsners, pale ales, and everything like that. I don't think I had a sour from them, but that's kind of where they made their name initially, right? Was those bottled sours? Because when you walk in and you see those barrels everywhere, like Barrique has got sour after sour after sour.
All their beers photo age too, though. Even their pilsners, everything they actually barrel age, which is nice. Their porter is the one that fucking blew me away.
It's really good.
I was super surprised.
I also like that they actually serve it room temp too, which is very nice. It's nice.
Yeah.
One
or two of the ones we had was it was a cask pump.
That was probably the porter.
Yeah,
porter.
It might have been that.
They keep it as close to the style as they can, and then
the porter they serve at like 50 degrees or something like that.
Yeah.
It's 55. It's like just this.
It wasn't cold, but it wasn't warm. It was just slightly chilled, which I really liked.
It's good and roasty. Like very robust. It was very nice.
I may be wrong on this, but I think it's served a little colder because of the American audience than it would be if you went over the Atlantic.
I remember the bartender's name. She's slipping my mind.
Hillary.
Was it Hillary?
Yeah.
Glasses?
Yep.
Yeah, she mentioned that. She mentioned, because this is the Americanized a little bit, they make it a little bit colder. And I appreciated that just because I prefer mine just a little bit cold. It doesn't have to be ice cold.
It's not a huge difference.
Yeah.
But,
it makes it makes all the difference without it being
when it's less cold, you get more of the toastiness.
Exactly.
So it's less just like, again, the cold beer back end.
This is good.
Yes.
Fontaine's the shit.
Wow.
Fontaine's the shit.
They are.
I was not expecting this beer to taste like this.
This is not some crazy shit.
Yeah, it's super easy drink. Belgian blonde, but it tastes it's sweet. It's got like a berry flavor almost to me.
Yeah.
But it's super tasty.
It's good and yeasty.
7%, I think.
Lots of good flavors in it, man. This is 7%. One of those more complicated blondes. This is fantastic.
I love this beer.
Yeah. Anything that 3 does is gold.
I don't think I've ever had anything from them before.
No,
Again, they're not something that you're really going to see around here very much. It's just, again, their distro just kind of fell apart. So
Yeah.
it's hard to get it.
I was surprised in Mount Juliet. I went to Providence while my wife had a operation going on, and they had stacks of 3 Fontenin.
At Mount Juliet Beer or at Providence Wine and
Providence.
Spirits?
Providence
It's a great
Spirits?
store, though.
Yeah.
Ryan, the buyer there, he actually knows his shit. He does a really good job. Providence is definitely... I mean, whenever I worked at Beer Co., like, my only competition ever was Providence. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about what's out there...
Yeah.
It's
They
like-
were on the other side of the city.
They were
I
on
mean,
the
like,
other-
they were on the other side of Mount Juliet
Yeah,
Road.
so it's like direct competition, but it's also, it's like, there's 2 bottle shops in town.
Yeah.
I always had the edge, though, because they have their liquor license.
I remembered that when, especially when it was when the beer laws were changing, because at the time you couldn't sell anything over 6.2 in a beer store.
6.3, but
6.3, yeah. You had to go to a liquor store if you wanted anything higher than that.
Yeah.
And the edge was Providence Wine and Spirits had opened up, and they were able to do it. And I remember Mike.
Yeah.
Right, Mike Mount. I remember I was talking to him about it. He was like, "Man, it really sucks because we have our stake, in this town, and we can't abide by those rules
He
yet."
tried really hard to get his liquor license, but the reality is, again, like going back to Mount Juliet,
The
and, like,
Bible
rural
Belt.
Tennessee, it's like very Bible Belt. It's
Yep.
like very like, oh well, we're only gonna allow 3 liquor permits within city limits, but then so the owner of Providence Wine and Spirits is also like the developer of Providence, which is like the huge shopping
yeah,
center. So
right.
if he wants a liquor permit, he's
He's
one.
probably
you know
gonna
what
get
I mean?
one.
Like
Right.
So that's basically the caveat to it.
Interesting.
But again, like I feel like we held our own. I mean, the greatest thing about Beer Co. was our prices. To be real,
Yeah.
like our growler wall
Yeah.
was cheaper than
God, it
anyone.
was cheap. I
So
remember
we had
that.
$2 off growlers on Fridays, so
Yeah.
you could get like a fucking, you could get like a growler of, again, like home style for $11.99. You know,
Amazing.
you could get Bear Walker for $7.99. Like you could, like, like it was dirt cheap. And or that was actually Tuesday. Like you do the $2 off. On Friday we'd have a brewery and then we'd drop all their shit like half off. So it's like cheap as fuck. You get Gerst for like $5.99.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I remember Mount Juliet Beer Company was where I went. I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
And that store, again, like me and Joe definitely changed that store. We were bringing in 450 North and shit before 450 actually popped off. They got picked up by TCD, and then they really, really boomed, and they quit sending beer to Tennessee.
Well, shit.
But, and again, I like Mike, but Mike didn't understand where craft beer was going.
Right.
So me and Joe would have, like, again, to circle back, we'd have like Hop and Frog and 450 and like Bearded Iris and Southern Grist on the end caps of the store. And he would come in and be like, "What the hell is all this shit? Like, I've never heard of any of this stuff. Send this shit back, you know? Like, why do we have $15 4-packs on our end caps? Like, what the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
And we just have to be like, like, Mike, like, this is 450 North. Like, in, like, again, like 18 months from now, like, people are going to be driving up there and muling back fucking $800 worth of it at a time. Like, he had no idea, you know? Like,
Right.
no
I
idea.
don't remember. I haven't seen 450 North in a long time. I used to get their nuggets. What was their?
They did the Dank Candy was the one
Dank
that
Candy.
we rocked all the time
Yep.
at Beer Co.
I remember all those, but you're right. I haven't seen them in a couple of years.
So every now and then they'll send a pallet to Middle Tennessee, but the way that they do it is because they want to remain like Colt.
Yeah.
Like they basically drop all of their beer off at one account. So
Damn.
their distro will approach you and be like, "Hey, so do you want 30 cases of 450?"
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
And you have to, again,
You either
like-
have to say yes or you say no,
have
and
to
you get
do-
nothing.
You
Right?
have to objectively make the decision, like where it's like, okay, so you're going to be the only account in town that has it, but do you really want whatever it is, like
All of it.
$6,000 worth of 450?
Man.
I will say, like, they've only done that twice, and it was Madison Beverage Depot of all places.
Wow.
Was like it got the first drop, and it hung around for a long time because, like, dude, you're dropping 30 cases
A
off
lot of
on
beer.
one account.
Yeah.
And then I accepted it the second time because I honestly like raised such a shit fit. I was like, dude, like, why are you putting 30 fucking cases of a $25.99 4-pack into one account?
Yeah.
Like, you should be spreading this shit out to accounts that A, deserve it,
Yep.
and B, you shouldn't be putting that burden on that fucking store, because the reality is also their distro, they don't buy beer back. So if your 450 fucking doesn't move, you're just trapped with X amount of 450. You know
You're
what I mean?
fucked, yeah.
Yeah. So I raised a lot of hell, and I kind of like was just basically like, yo, like everything that you're doing is wrong.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, this is the way 450 wants it. I'm like, well, like, first of all, like, I shouldn't be finding out about 450 North being in the market via social media.
Yeah.
Like, Madison Beverage Depot posting on Instagram shouldn't be the way that I found out that there's 450 in town.
Mm-hmm.
You should be approaching me, and even if I don't get it, you should be like, hey, just so you know,
Yep.
450's in town. I can't give it to you now, but if you're interested, you know what I mean? Like, the whole way that they handle 450's distro is, like, bizarre to me.
That's weird.
And again, like, I'm not a huge 450 fan. Like, again, milk sugar and fruit are, like, not my thing. Like,
Yeah, they
it's,
really dove in on that.
it's too much for me, man. It's just, like,
Were you-
perfumey.
Were you with us? It was one year we were coming back from Dark Lord
I was
Day.
there, yeah.
We stopped at 450 on the way back.
Well, they still had like half and half offerings at that.
Yeah.
Well, like, the
yeah.
candy shit, like, just the regular double
Yeah.
IPAs, the double dry hops that they used
Yeah.
to do, like, those are fucking great.
Yeah.
It was just, like, juicier, almost
They were
more, like,
doing
West
they were
Coast
doing
style.
triple they were doing triple
Yeah, they were doing fun
IPAs.
stuff, but like,
Yeah.
when we start talking about like Berliner with Mountain Dew in them, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's you lose my ass. Like we put fucking
Yeah.
800 pounds of sour Skittles in our wort. Like it's just
No,
you're not piquing my interest. And again,
No.
we're all snowflakes. We're all unique. We're all
Yes.
different. Like
Yes.
everyone's got their favorite. I'm not shitting on you. But like I am like not the target audience for sours. This is what happens when you give millennials breweries. I'm
Yes, it's true.
telling you.
They have an opinion.
It's weird. Like I definitely see Tennessee having a lot of that interest with the milkshakey. Give me my cereal, but in a beer, please, and
You see
stuff like that.
you see the market change so much though. Again, like Bearded Iris and Southern Grist and New Heights and Living Waters coming in like means that a lot of breweries that have been around and established for like the last 10 years are having to like change their game plan. So you see a lot of breweries like drop a lot of their cores.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of breweries in town that don't do their red ale anymore, or like they don't do their
Which is a
basic pale ale
shame,
anymore.
yeah.
They're like you have to, like the market calls for that. Like
Yeah.
people expect more. Like breweries in town come in and change the game. And I mean, if you go to Chicago, like the Midwest, and you see like there's like a fucking Hibbett Sports that closed down in a suburb, and like someone popped up a brewery.
Yeah.
And like, all you need is like a source of water and a hole in the ground, and you can brew beer. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
a roof over your head. So I think the saturation in a way is like really stepped up.
Yeah.
Breweries. I also think there's breweries in town that should stick to what they do best, though.
Yes.
Like there are breweries in town. Like maybe if the best thing you do is like Belgian Abbey ales, like maybe focus a little more on perfecting that and stop trying to do like haze bombs and fruited Berliners.
Yes.
Again, like no disrespect.
No,
I just
but-
think like if you've already spent this entire time like cutting out your piece of the pie, and all these breweries are doing other things, like yeah, I know like we can't all brew home style, like we can't all sell to that capacity.
Right.
Like you should still be honing in what you've been doing this entire time.
I agree with that for sure. It's Nashville has such a, I don't know, it keeps growing with breweries too.
There's
so
a diverse
it's
amount
nuts,
of
yeah.
breweries as far as style, you know, and like it's sometimes it's kind of disappointing to me when you see a brewery that only does like porters and like Belgian
Right.
ales and stuff, and then they're like, oh, we have a New England IPA. It's just like, man, like I understand that it's a style that's selling, and you want to like cut out that little piece of the pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, wouldn't you be better off just like working more on like Belgian casks and you know like English ales and shit like that?
Yes, and I think I know at least one of the places
I'm
you're,
not trying to,
you're
like-
referring to.
Again, like I and any like there is a brewery specifically that I have in mind, but I also like them and respect them, so I'm not gonna dog shit on what they do.
Totally.
But like, if you've already like again like established dominance in a local style, like don't even worry about what other breweries are doing. Like who cares?
Yeah. Focus on the thing that sells real good.
I'm gonna use the restroom real quick.
Go for it.
I'm gonna back out of here.
We
If,
think rinse break.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do a rinse break. We'll be right back. And we're back.
Yeah.
We're rinsed up, sudsed up.
Ready to go.
We're going to bring some more suds in. We already opened a can.
Yep. So we're switching gears a little bit, moving into the IPA category. The final category of the evening, I think we've got 3.
All right.
3 IPAs, including the one we have poured. But this one's interesting. So this one actually came from DJ. Shout out to DJ. So
Thanks, DJ.
Celestial Brew Works, based out of Dallas, Texas. So DJ's working with a startup right now, and they're home based in Dallas. So he's out in Dallas a lot and discovered Celestial Brew Works. So every time he's out in Dallas, he always brings back a lot of stuff. This one is interesting because this one caught my eye. So DJ came over last night and brought about 6 beers back that I had never had before. Just gave me a 6-pack of tall boys, basically the 16-ounce cans, and they were all different. And this one's kind of what caught my eye. This is a triple IPA, double dry hopped with quote unquote, and there's a caveat with this, but 0 IBU IPA, and they call it 0 IBU because no hops were added during the hot boil process. It was all the hops were added on the end.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there is no hops in the boil whatsoever. All of the hops come from the dry hop on the end. So that's where they're calling it the 0 IBU. And
Interesting.
You could make the argument whether it is 0 IBU, but regardless, I've never had an IPA brewed where all the hops are done dry hopped at the end and not part of the boil process.
This has some serious burial-esque vibe.
It really does. Yep.
And I like the name Odysseus.
Yep.
Yeah. Also,
All of their cans are like this, by the
I'm
way.
actually from the Dallas area too, so I get some love for that.
right
That's
on.
cool. Hell yeah.
So I think we're about to jump into this one.
That smells juicy as hell.
It looks like orange juice.
This is the weirdest tasting IPA I've ever had, and it's really fucking good.
That's the fucking move right there.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the move.
so good.
What the fuck?
Juice bomb.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally juicy. It's bitter on the end, only in a sense of the
I get
aftertaste.
0 bitterness.
Yep.
I get just
It's just straight juice. Yep.
Tropicana.
Yep.
Man, there is a little heaviness to it for me,
Yep.
but
You get
it's
the
all that
booziness.
juice.
You get the
Yeah.
that bite on the end.
Yeah.
That's the, what is it, 10%? 10% ABV.
Wow.
You would never know that's 10% beer.
No.
Never know.
No. But Celestial, a lot of what they do has been that, I've noticed. So every time I've had a Celestial beer from them, it's always been really juicy.
Huh.
You know, it's New England style, double dry hopped IPAs. But the alcohol that's always been higher, never taste it.
I'm not really familiar with a lot of the newer breweries that are popping up back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know like Raw and Sons.
Yeah.
I remember drinking the Ugly Pug porter out of
Ugly
the bag.
Pug.
They used to do the short stubby bottles with the dog's face on it with his tongue stuck out. And
I remember Rar and Sons.
That's
Yeah, you can get them still in Tennessee. They distro here, but they actually just cut the Ugly Pug, which is a bummer.
From the lineup, like no more?
Yeah,
Dang.
and they also had the was it Iron and Thistle, I think is what it was, which was a Scotch ale.
Yep.
And they changed that to seasonal, but that's another great beer of theirs. Yeah, Raw is OG for sure.
Yeah.
As far as Texas breweries, St. Arnold,
Yep.
they have their pills is one of the best, and then you got obviously Jester King, and you got Lakewood. Lakewood's another good one.
Lakewood, I've had Lakewood.
Lakewood.
Ajax brought a little bit of Lakewood in. We got some of their what is it? It's the espresso stout. I can't remember what it's called.
Espresso stout. Nah,
This is one of
Pull that
those
shit
beers
up,
that
Jamie.
smells exactly like it tastes. It smells like a juice bomb, tastes like a juice bomb, not hoppy at all.
Smells like it tastes like it is. I used to watch a lot of YouTube stuff before YouTube became heavily monetized and ads and stuff.
Yeah.
And there was this thing called Vic's Crappy Videos. It's still an account. He still makes crappy videos, but he did a thing called Nature Walk.
Nature Walk.
Nature Walk. In the very first episode, there's some bangers that are so fucking stupid. Like, this beer is a example of one of the jokes. He finds an aspen tree.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is or not, but he smacks the tree a little bit with in character, and he's like, "This here is an aspen tree, and you can tell what it is because of the way it is. Isn't that neat?" And he does this little laugh and like continues on, and then you hear the cheesy guitar riff, like do 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 do.
It's just awkward, right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
he continues on, and this beer is like, it reminds me of that little skit because it smells like it, tastes like it must be because it
tastes and
is the
smells
way
like it is.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
Lakewood Temptress. Temptress is what I was thinking of.
Oh, Temptress.
Temptress.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I've got a VP that I work with. He's from the Texas area. Texas area. It's huge. I mean,
Which
you could
is its own
drive.
fucking
You could
country.
drive an entire day and still be
14
in
hours
Texas.
from one
Yeah,
side to the other, yeah.
exactly. But Lakewood, the Temptress. I had one from them recently that was really good. I'm trying to remember. It wasn't just
They
a
have
regular
the
Lakewood.
Temptress, and then they have like the French Quarter one.
French Quarter one.
Yeah.
That was the one I had. Really fucking
that's,
good.
That's the espresso one.
Yes.
I
That
think
would
the
make
Temptress
sense.
is
It
like their
was-
base milk stout.
It was so smooth and it was really good. The flavors in that beer worked well together everywhere. There wasn't any flavor competing with one another.
Did they use Cafe du Monde or something?
The warmer this gets, the boozier it gets. Already,
so?
it's already the warmer this gets. It's
Yeah.
already a little boozier.
Let's see.
I'll let mine warm up a little more.
It's a hot drink. We can't wait till we crack open that fucking Omnipollo.
Oh man, I'm excited for that. I'm
Yeah, so
excited
I
for
got that today. As soon as I got it, I actually did pull that can off with this in mind. I was
Nice.
'cause it's 10 times dry hopped with Nelson Sauvin.
Quad IPA, quadruple IPA.
It's gonna taste like green onion and cat piss.
dude.
It's gonna be great.
Yes.
For some off the wall reason, that sounds really good. It shouldn't.
When
but
you
for
know,
some-
you know.
Yeah.
Those
well,
are the-
you know.
Honestly, whenever there were times at Beerco when I would sell people on Homestyle and be like, Mosaic hop, it's like if you could imagine a cat pissing on a sock that was filled with green onion, like that's what this beer tastes like. And they're like, oh, that sounds disgusting. And then you try it and you're like, oh.
I
that's
love
fucking
cat piss on a sock.
delicious, man. Like Mosaic hop is like so skunky. It's
Yeah.
Yes.
so skunky.
Well, Homestyle's all Mosaic,
Yeah.
right? And then you mentioned Roadmap was a Mosaic IPA.
I love Nelson hop though is so peppery. Like that's what I like about
I
it.
really like the peppery
I like the
hops.
green onion, like pepperiness.
Yes.
Like that's what like when you get like the Bibco Pep Talk and it's like fresh and it's just like straight up like pepper.
Yeah.
And I never really. It took me a little while to look at the can and like look at the white and black and then be like. Pep Talk, like Nelson Sauvin and Pearl, like oh, this is like straight up peppercorn. Like this is like a peppercorn pills. Like it's fucking great.
Have you ever had a extremely peppered saison by chance?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Ooh, high cotton.
So the only one I've had was from High Cotton years ago now, and I really wish I'd see some more of those around town. But God,
Pepper Saison. That one was really good. I think you brought back a
When you-
growler.
Again, like bread
And you and I
saisons,
split
man.
it.
That's when you start
Yes.
seeing like the pepperiness and the leather and the rawhide, like the
Yeah.
black licorice. Like
amazing.
I haven't cracked it open yet, but I bought a case of Boulevard's Brett Saison from 2016.
Ooh.
So it's like a 5-year age, like Brett Saison. I haven't cracked one open yet, but I've got them at the shop, and I'm just like probably gonna be Thanksgiving for me. Like
Yeah.
I really like lambics and sours with turkey and gravy.
Oh, that
Mashed
sounds
potatoes.
It just
awesome.
works, man. It just
Yeah.
works. I don't know.
No doubt.
I drank. I cracked open like 5 different barriques for Thanksgiving last year. I think it was just hitting the mood, you know.
Yeah.
Also, on the topic of sours, you said that you had the Flanders Oaked from Highwire when Emily was on.
Yep.
What was your think on that?
I dug it, man. It was
You don't like sours.
But it was good.
That's a highly
It was good though. It was.
Flanders is like like balsamic. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like oily, tangy, tart. You know.
It
like,
has-
Tangy
that.
was the right word for
Tangy,
it.
very tangy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the word I did. I mean, I didn't. That was a word I was trying to think of that night, and I couldn't come up with. it.
Highwire's
Tangy's-
bottle releases are great.
Yeah.
They have. I've got like a peppercorn saison of theirs. I have like a gin barrel aged saison at the shop. Like they do a lot of really cool bottle stuff. You just don't see a lot of it up here.
that red Flanders, I always know I'm in for like a full-bodied kind of sour because they're heavy. They got the twang. They punch you a little bit typically in the palate. So
They're medicinal. They
Yes.
have like that like Tuscany kind of vibe to
Yeah.
them. It's,
medicinal vibe to them.
yeah, I don't know. That sounds weird, but like
Huh?
it's again the cherry. You know, like
Yes.
you get like a lot of that rich boozy cherry. It kind of just like
man,
it's almost like cough syrup.
I think that was the case one New Year's Eve.
Oh my God! Why are you bringing that up?
It's just so funny to me because I
It
totally
seems-
killed the vibe.
It seems that every time we talk about sours, this story comes up. So
well, we're talking specifically about the red.
yes.
So I mean, it was the first Yazoo release of Embrace the Funk with their Flanders red.
It was, and we were at. I guess I'll air the laundry. We
Go
were.
for
It was New Year's Eve. I was living in Nashville at the time, and I had just moved into my house. This is probably 10 years ago.
Yeah, roughly.
10, 11 years
Yeah.
ago. And at the time, craft beer for me was again Killian's, Blue Moon, Shock Top. Like that's what we would drink. And I had some, we had some homies over that was, drinking like Bud Light and Miller Light and things like that. And like me, the fancy beer drinker, quote unquote, was drinking Blue Moon, Shock Top, Killing's Irish Red, and things like that. And Mitch shows up and he was like, "Hey, you want to change it up a little bit?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? I'll have another beer." And he was like, "It's a Yazoo beer." And I was like, "Ooh, Yazoo craft beer. I'm willing to try
That Sly Rye.
Yeah. It was not Sly Rye Porter.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It was the first release of Embrace the Funk, and I had never ever had a sour beer before. I don't remember who you poured it for.
I poured it for everybody.
Okay.
And I slayed it and had to drink everybody's
Every single
portions
beer, yeah.
because no
I
one
took
wanted
one
it.
sip and I was like, hang on a second. And no disrespect, because Embrace the Funks have really come into their own. And at the time, I'm sure they were really good. But as a guy that was drinking Shock
People
Top,
were not ready for that, man.
No, we were not ready for it.
And I still, for me, I actually, whenever I throw those aged Bretts on the shelf, I always just kind of preface people whenever I sell it to them, look, you have to Brettanomyces.
Yes.
You're talking about something that's been cellaring for 3 or 4 or 5, 6 years,
Yes.
if you're a Brett drinker, this Crooked Stave is for you. But if you don't like black licorice and dirt, it's
True.
and acidity, it's not your thing,
Yeah, I didn't preface shit with these guys
No,
at all.
Mitch was like, here, it's
that's
called
always great
Yazoo.
too,
Drink
though,
this beer.
Trial by fire, trial by fire.
Yeah,
Exactly what it was.
yeah, it really was, and I had to take that fire. It was, but I enjoyed every drop, and it was one of those things where I read the room, and then I said, "Fuck it," and I got what I pretty well, I guess, bet on. What's up?
I was going to say, that's yours. I think.
Oh
that you
shit!
brought.
Yeah, the Street Shark. All
Yeah.
right, let me read it. I don't really remember what this one is.
Well, this is the Run the Jewels, right?
No, this is it's got some sort of Street Shark on the label.
Oh.
This is the.
Hold on a minute.
Well, you want to do that one first, or?
Did I miss?
We should finish with the Omnipolo.
All right.
Did I miss a beer?
There's one more. Yeah.
There should be one more after
It has the gun and the fist.
Oh, so
I did miss a beer. It was packed down on the side.
so there's 3 instead of 4.
West Coast IPA.
Dun dun dun.
This one is a double India Pale Ale with Idaho 7. All right. So we're doing West Coast first. This is the No Save Point West Coast IPA, India Pale Ale with Nelson and Strata hops. This is a that's 7% alcohol by volume. So this is the Run the Jewels version of No Save Point by. Oh, it's a collaboration between Mason Ale Works and Horace Aged Ales with Run the Jewels.
I don't know any of them.
Me neither. This is all new to me. This is one of those things I got off.
You bought it off the
craft
can,
beer themes.
right?
Huh?
You bought the can based on the art label. Run the Jewels.
Well, I like IPAs, and then I saw Run the Jewels, so I was like, all right.
Sold.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll pop this on open. I really dig the logo though, because it's like a wolf with its tongue and mouth gaping.
Yeah.
And then they're pulling the brains out of the wolf, and it's like a circuit board.
Oh, hell yeah.
So it's a little, I don't know, I think this is around the time Cyberpunk came out.
Okay.
I don't know if that had any influence to it or not, but pass it around. But I'm excited for this. I've had this for a few months, so I've been looking for the right time to open it and share. Tonight seemed to be that night. Whoa, it's kind of floral on the nose.
Yeah, really flowery.
Ah,
California breweries, so
that's true.
yeah,
And
it's gonna be a little.
good, decent little foamy head on it.
India Pale Ale with Nelson Sauvin and Strata hops, 7% alcohol. I assume I'm going in the right direction if I'm going that or West Coast. I mean, I guess when you start dealing with Idaho 7 hops, they're kind of more on the higher alpha acid unit scale anyway, so
That's true.
they're more bitterness anyway. But I don't know if this is going to be. I assume that the one that I pulled out originally and put back in is going to be more dank because it's more West Coast than anything. So that was kind of my. You know, once you get up into like the 7% plus, when you go from anywhere from 7 to 10%, alcohol doesn't really matter to my.
Right.
In my opinion, when you're dealing with an IPA, it's more about which one's more resiny and which one's more dank.
Yeah.
And for me, West Coast is going to be that, so I'd prefer to have that after this one. But again, I haven't had either one of them, so I have no clue.
I'm only familiar with like Horace, and the only thing I know of theirs is they have like oatmeal stouts and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
New experience for everyone then.
Yeah, right.
Down the hatch.
Yeah, let's do it. A little soapy.
Yeah. Soapy is a good word
Pretty
for
sharp.
Yeah, very sharp.
it. Yeah.
Kind of, I don't want to say flat.
The taste, there's no like taste that stays with you. It just
No.
kind of disappears real quick.
It kind of,
I think we probably waited too long to crack this can.
I think so.
You think so?
I think I might have waited too long.
That taste topped out.
When did you pick this one out?
It's a good question. It was this year.
Okay.
It was this year, but yeah, this one might have waited too long.
It's still good.
Okay.
It's tasty, but I fear we're losing a little bit of the overall flavors that they, wanted you to have.
Now, wasn't No Save Point one of the names of the songs from Run the Jewels off one of their latest albums when they came out with Cyberpunk?
I'm really bad with that, but you're
Okay.
probably right.
I'm gonna look it up then.
I love the game, but it's like,
I remember that was their single. Yeah, song from Run the Jewels, Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, so when the game came out and Run the Jewels was had one of the songs on there, it was called No Save Point. So that makes sense. That's the name of this beer.
I hate to say it, so maybe it's been that long.
Yeah.
And that would explain the flatness.
Yeah.
So,
Well, their URL is www.runthejewels.beer.
.beer.
So as long
Interesting.
as that's
That's still
beer?
live.
that's a domain, that's dope as hell.
I've never
So-
seen
Yeah.
a dot beer
a dot
domain
beer.
before.
No, the can says .beer.
Man.
www.
Between the three of them, they got money to start
Beer.
that domain.
Yeah.
Because, you've seen these domains that are very custom, but someone's got to, pay the 13 grand to start it.
Oh yeah.
But, yeah, I'm enjoying it regardless.
Oh
but
yeah. It's super. It's tasty.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's sharp. It's got a sweetness to it. It's floral and a little acidic to me. But,
I think you said soapy. That was kind of the word for it for
Yeah.
me. Yeah. 7%.
oh well.
I'm running out of things to say about it. I don't
I
really
think we
have
said
much.
it all. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not familiar with either breweries. I definitely listen to Run the Jewels. I like a lot of stuff they do. I want to hear another DJ Shadow with Run the Jewels soon,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But yeah, it's not like,
Let's pour that one out.
yeah,
It's reached its date.
Yeah.
That tastes this tastes old.
yeah. I think I waited too long on that one.
Okay.
Packaging's cool. Looks great.
Yeah. The label
You
pulled
gotta be
me in.
careful with IPAs, man. You gotta drink that shit quick.
Yep.
IPAs are the one beer that's just gotta be fresh.
Well, then I'll grab the next one.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Damn shame. Hopefully the shark one's better. Yeah, I'll go ahead and just pop it and pour it. Let's see what happens. So this is the brewed and canned by Tripping Animals Brewing.
Tripping animals.
Tripping Animals.
I like that.
This is from Avdoral, Florida. I'm not familiar with that one.
Nope.
It says, it's just like this other one. Drink fresh, drink now.
Mitch is like, no, I'm not going to drink it now.
Just as a PSA to everybody, if you get IPAs in hand,
Yeah.
best drink as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
Even if it's got a higher ABV,
Yep.
it's best to go ahead and drink it as soon as possible. So here's the reason I picked this one up. It wasn't just label art. I love Street Sharks when I was growing up and I saw the fucking Street Shark on it because it's got pants like the Hulk when they Hulk out.
That's awesome.
And it's a shark with teeth and it looks more menacing than Street Sharks. But it's got, it had, on the hops, it caught my eye because it was a double India Pale Ale. You're good to go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The India Pale Ale with Idaho 7 Cryo. Idaho 7.
Cryo, you said?
And,
Oh, okay.
and the
Cryo
normal
hops.
Idaho 7.
Yeah.
And Comet hops. I
And
don't know.
Comet hops?
I don't know what they are.
I've heard of them before. I've had a couple of IPAs with Comet hops in them, but I can't pick them out.
Honky Tonk used Comet hops.
Honky Tonk?
Yeah.
In their West Coast?
No, the country style. Yeah, it's
Haven't had it.
I haven't had that
Haven't
one.
had
They're
the
New
country
England. It's Apollo, Comet, Eldorado, Simcoe, Mosaic, and Citra.
Eldorado
I
hops
only
I'm
know that because I
familiar
work for
with.
them, so there's that.
Mitch just gave a weird look. Do you take a sip of it?
There's flavor.
Okay.
You all let me know what you think. So it's still carbonated. It's got a decent head to it, but it's got that same kind of sweetness, but it's a little more heavy on the flavor. So I hope this isn't another overly aged IPA, because I haven't put a date to it, so I don't know.
It looks relatively juicy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get much on the nose.
It's a...
Smells really fruity on the nose.
Does it really?
Yeah.
It's
canned
got-
on
maybe
March 2nd.
this year.
This year?
Yes.
I missed that, so that's good. That's at least better.
Is that good?
I mean, for
7 months?
for a New England IPA, probably not.
No.
No.
IPAs, it said drink fresh.
Most IPAs need to be had as soon as they touch your hands.
Yeah.
That's the rule of thumb, I think. At least.
Well,
Yeah.
But it's going to be okay. We'll give it a
let's try it out.
Go for it.
So, hey, some age better than others, right?
That's true. I still have, unfortunately, a few from Chicago Dark Lord Day IPAs.
Really?
Yeah, I may need to cuvee them and just
Like Three Floyds IPAs?
No, the ones we picked up while we were
okay.
there.
For when we were at the Dark Lord Day trip.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we made a trip to Revolution and picked up some beer then. And then, or are you talking about the year before?
No, it was 2020. We took the car up,
Yeah.
but we stopped by.
We stopped at some bottle shops.
something Claw,
Okay.
not Dew Claw, but something. Anyway, Scorcher. No, I can't remember now. But there were a few breweries we stopped by and we shared cans about
Okay.
or with. Anyway, I had a burp and it was confusing my brain.
This is really sweet.
It's really
Yeah,
sweet.
this
It's went bad.
Incredibly sweet.
I think it's went a little sideways.
Yeah.
What do we say the alcohol on this? 8.7? This is sweeter than I expected for an 8.7.
That's probably because I aged it too long.
Okay. Double
It's-
IPA with Idaho 7 Cryo, and Comet hops.
I was super excited to share these, but I just waited way too fucking long.
Gotta crush the IPAs, man.
It's not
Yeah.
It's not as bad as the other one.
Right.
The no save point was definitely
Yeah.
past Expo, but
I didn't mind the no save point. Maybe it's just because I've had a lot of beers tonight.
It was just really sweet, and
Yeah.
you didn't get that depth like you do in bitterness,
Yeah.
kind of with an IPA.
Okay.
And I fear this one has the same fate, just with the different hops, though it has a lot more flavor.
Okay.
definitely got creaminess.
Yeah.
A lot of creaminess.
So, I'm still impressed with it, but I can't give it the full marks like I would typically would. Like both of these, I'm like, it was my fault. I should have just drank them and talked about them sooner.
I mean,
We're also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is also our 8th beer.
yeah, for sure. But
Sure, but I mean,
New
There's
England IPAs being 6
Drink 'em
months
fresh.
old, you gotta you gotta drink them fresh.
it's
Aaron's,
weird.
Aaron's got a chaser of Black Abbey next to him.
Yeah.
Drinking Oktoberfest.
Sipping on
Hell
an
yeah.
Oktoberfest in between.
Fresh. So it's one of those things, like I've had some IPAs around the same alcohol percentage that haven't deviated from their flavor profile.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, it could have just been maybe I should have put them in the fridge for the length of time that they were, ready or whatever. So I don't know. There's a few factors I might have to debate and figure out what happened. But regardless, we can't really judge either one of these when it comes to what they would have been fresh.
Because of their age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I enjoy the can art. Hey, I know what you're trying to do, but I just didn't get to taste it.
It's a little too late.
By the way, that cigar smells really fucking good right now.
That is Patina, Connecticut.
Which one?
Connecticut.
Patina, Connecticut.
Patina, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Connecticut's for me I haven't historically liked them. They've been too light.
I like the light. It's 100 degrees outside. I like a lighter smoke.
That's true. But it's not 100 degrees outside.
It's not, but it's been a hot summer, so I've been on the lighter smoke.
Making up for lost time. Because we had the room 101. Mitch and I had the room 101 cigars. Super killer. Not spicy, not overly spicy at all.
They were smooth.
It was really smooth and the darker cigar. I don't know what kind of wrapper that was. To me, it looks kind of like a Habano, but it didn't have the spice of a Habano, so I don't really know what it was. But it had loads of flavors. It worked well with every single beer that I had, and I put mine out probably about 2 or 3 beers ago before the rinse break.
Yeah.
And kind of wish I was smoking on one right now, but another one for me just isn't in the cards tonight. The day after, it kind of feels weird for me if I have more than one, especially this late in the evening. But it would that cigar that you're smoking smells really good, and it could be just the fact that it's a lighter.
You're making me
cigar.
want one.
Yeah,
Connecticut's are good, man. They're just easy. They're light. Just get through them, you know.
We had when I worked at the Smoky Cigar in Hendersonville. Don't know if you've ever been there before, Aaron.
Not.
Okay, so it was a passion project from a guy that he had actually worked for, and I can say this because he said that we could, but he actually worked for a division of the U.S. government. He did a lot of work on coding and programming for like ballistic missiles and things like that. He created his own company that ended up selling it to the U.S. government.
That's crazy.
And he ended up making a shit ton of money and decided he was going to open his own cigar shop because his dad smoked 7-8 cigars a day and was in retirement, and he needed a place for him to work.
Jesus.
So he opened up a cigar shop and let his dad run it. One of the driest sense of humor guys you ever know is a guy that's in his 70s and just dry humor, had no personality. We actually called him Mr. Personality. Walked in and we asked him, what kind of cigar am I looking for? And he was, no offense, but zero help. It was kind of, what do you like? And I'm like, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. But they came out with kind of it'd be the equivalent of like a mug club for a cigar lounge. So you bought a book, you spent I think $20 or $25, and you bought a cigar book. And it was a journal basically, and if you could make your way through their entire humidor, which was kind of it was loose in the sense that they were always adding new product, but not to the sense that they do today, because there wasn't as many craft cigars as there was today as there was or back then as there is today. So you could it took you a while, but there was never this always ever changing list of cigars, because this was 11 or 12 years ago. And so they did that, and I remember saying I was going to start with the Connecticut's. A lot of people start alphabetical order, start with Alec Bradley's, and then move their way. I decided I was going to start by style, so I smoked my way through the entire line of Connecticut's first, of everything they had in the humidor. And, of course, Perdomo had their Connecticut's. Rocky Patel had a Connecticut. And I grew this desire to smoke Connecticut cigars because, to what Aaron said, it's hot outside, and during the summertime, which is when I started, sometimes I just want a light smoke. I want to be smoking on something, but I don't want it to fill my stomach up when I'm smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
So I kind of got this love for Connecticut cigars. And then once I got into the bigger ring gauges and the spicier and stuff like that, the Connecticut's to me kind of went by the wayside. Kind of like Pilsners in a sense that they started out light, and then you move into IPAs and stouts and everything, and then Mitch started getting back into Pilsners. And he was like, you got to try this. I'm like, I just, Pilsners aren't really my thing. But everybody we've talked to, breweries alike, Ryan from Living Waters was the first one to say this. What's my favorite beer to drink is a Pilsner. And you go, why? And you go, well, it's the ideal beer because you can't hide a mistake in a Pilsner.
Yeah, imperfections they show really easy.
Yeah.
I mean, you and me could go in that bathroom and we could brew a beer in the sink, and if it sucked, we could put enough pastry or fruit or milk sugar into it. And we could
acceptable, right?
We could charge $24 for a 4-pack.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yes.
Whenever you talk about lagers, you're talking about water and malt and hops and yeast and thyme.
Yep.
And the hardware that you use. So it's a lot harder to hide imperfections.
Yeah.
Definitely. Man,
Down this one.
I'll go ahead and apologize for those two beers. That was the first time I've had flat beers to share. So I think now I'm going to cruise through my own little... I've been wanting to test the grounds on this TikTok application.
on the TikTok.
Yeah, but I think I'm going to probably just record and just do my own little video of all the beers that I know are a little too old IPA-wise, and just cruise through and just be like, fuck it. You know what I mean? So test the grounds a little bit on that platform with bad beers. But I apologize, but it looks like Aaron's going to revive the mood on IPAs here with this beast.
I think we should close the evening out on this particular beer. So this is going to be the nightcap.
Omnipollo?
Omnipollo? So this is a quad IPA that has been dry hopped 10 times with Nelson Sauvin, and it is 12%.
Insane. That sounds ridiculous.
Oh, you want me to pour it?
I just poured mine.
Oh, you poured yours. Okay.
Yeah.
It still feels full.
It's a 12%er.
Okay.
We're beers deep.
Yes, we are, and we might as well just keep touch and go, right?
All right. 10 times dry hop quad
This
IPA.
is the time when I would like to say that I'm also 145 pounds, and
Feeling it.
this 12% quad IPA at this very moment, you know, I'm in it for the taste.
Yep.
That smells fresh.
It
smells very fresh.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 beers, 11 beers.
We've had a few.
We've had a few.
Yeah.
Good news is we've split all of them 3 ways.
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's really
We've had-
like
we
4
had-
beers,
yeah, it's
right?
like 4 beers.
It's like 4 beers apiece. Down the hatch.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Ooh,
That's very good.
That's tasty.
It's very good.
What did you say? It's like if a cat pissed in a sock.
That's Mosaic.
That's Mosaic. Okay.
Yeah, that's Mosaic.
Yeah, Nelson Sauvin.
I'm 3 beers behind then in that case.
Nelson Sauvin is like very, again, like grassy, peppery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This has got that for sure.
yeah.
And it's got that twangy with the grassiness.
Grassy. Yeah.
At the, like, after I've drank it, it leaves a little pepperiness behind. Tickles the roof of my mouth, as it were.
This is really
I
good.
think like grass clippings and green onion, basically.
Yeah.
And again, just like grapefruit, bitter citrus.
This taste, this is going to
Bitter
sound weird.
citrus.
This tastes like a cut lawn smells.
Clippings.
Clippings.
This is where you need your white, like, what is it? The white shoes with the, what brand is it? New Balance?
New Balance.
Your New Balances?
Yeah.
Dad shoes.
Throw your dad shoes on
Yeah.
when you're going to mow the lawn.
We're
Although,
staining them right now.
yeah, I would definitely not mow the lawn with this beer, but this is staining my shoes right now.
My lawn would not get mowed with this.
No.
I'd get about like 2 strips in and be like, all right, tomorrow. This is awesome, but it's very interesting, like
It's a lot of Nelson.
It is a lot of Nelson. Nelson for me has always been, kind of grassy but sweeter at the same time. I'm getting a lot of that in this. I'm looking at all the beers we've had tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's a loaded question because we've had everything from sours to blondes to stouts and IPAs. Actually, we started with stouts and then we moved to sours and then blondes and then IPAs. Has there been a favorite of the evening? According to everybody here?
Dark Lord, Tilkin, and the Fontaine for me.
That's the order of operations for you. So Dark Lord first and then what?
The Tilkin.
The Tilkin.
The Myrtle, yeah, and then the Fontaine.
Is that this one right there? The
Yes.
green bottle?
Yeah.
So, okay. The, like a blackberry tart sour.
The Blueberry, yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Blueberry tart sour, yeah. And then the
The Fontaine Blonde.
the
Those are probably the three that I like the most.
in order of operations for me, I would actually go Omnipollo. I think this one that we're
very
drinking
good.
right here is my favorite.
It's very good.
I would go this one, and then I would probably actually go from the Omnipollo. I would go to the Dark Lord, and then from the Dark Lord, I would probably go to, believe it or not, the not believe it or not, but the beer cell, the three Fontaines, the blonde ale. That was to me the surprise of the evening, because it was, when you think blonde ale, you don't think tons of flavor,
Fontaine
but
Blonde is the sleeper, man.
it was really
Yeah.
good. It was one of those ones that had tons of flavor. So again, I'm going to go Omnipollo. I'm going to go then Dark Lord for number 2, and then I'm going to go for 3 Fontaines for the blonde.
Nice.
What do you think, Mitch?
3 Fontaine for me was number 1.
Okay.
That blueberry was really super awesome. So that was the Tilkin.
Yep.
Yep.
I haven't had them before, so that was a good one. And the third one is between Omnipollo and the Dark Lord.
Man, we have distinct palates. It's ridiculous.
The
Like, everybody-
Omnipollo is like it's so strong for what it is, and then Dark Lord in its same right.
Yeah.
The 2020 one's a lot smoother than expected, because the previous Dark Lords I've had, just base,
Yeah.
they're usually super boozy and a little harsher.
Yeah.
So you usually age them a little bit to get the smooth ride, but that one's ready to rock.
For the fact that this was the newest version
Yeah.
of Dark Lord and it was still smooth.
I feel like the 8 months, 9 months, or how long has it? Oh, it's almost been a year.
It's been almost a year.
Yeah. So 1 year on the 2020 is almost perfect for that Dark Lord.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering now, are our Dark Lords previously ready to rock now?
Probably.
So
We do a vertical though with
True.
the last 3 years
Yeah.
put together.
We can trade a vertical with somebody now.
Yep.
But yeah, if I had to choose a third, just because it's newer to me, I'll go with the Omnipolo.
Okay.
And all that credit goes to Aaron tonight. Man.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, a lot of the other beers were out of code anyway. The IPAs and even like the main fall, like as good as that was, that's still an 11th month old oat mill stout. So
Yeah.
Wild.
But this has been a really good time, having Aaron from Main
Yes.
Street Liquors. By the way, I mentioned this at the beginning of the episode, but that was my first time at Main Street Liquors, and I am really fucking glad that I don't live close by because you'd probably get my entire paycheck.
It's a good shop, but they got tons of selections.
Yeah.
Wonderful craft beer availability.
And I just want to keep finding ways to take care of the people who come and shop. You know what I mean? The people
Yeah.
who come and spend money. Part of what I'm doing with like the cellar and like all the barrel aged stuff is, just trying to find a way to make sure that the right people get the right bottles. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what it's all about.
really is. And
Because there's a lot of tourists in this town, and I'd rather someone local get a bottle than someone from Omaha or something. No offense if you're from Omaha.
yeah.
Or Tibet or wherever you come from.
And no joke on the sake, by the way. I've been traveling to Murfreesboro most of these years to Total Bev for my sake and soju and whatnot. Main Street has
Surprisingly, we have like pretty good rice wine, for sure.
fantastic. And I just picked up, is it Unobtainium bourbon, I believe it was,
Yeah.
and it had the KBBS.
Yep. Yeah, we got that in too.
I haven't tried it yet, and I
haven't
can't
either.
wait.
I haven't either.
Man, it looks fantastic. And if you don't know what KBBS is, it's got a rated 100 on Beer Advocate for
Really?
its beer. Yes.
Wow.
So look up KBBS on Beer Advocate, read what people have to say about it, and that's in a bourbon at Main Street Liquors.
and then go to Main Street
right
Liquors
now.
and buy it. Yeah.
Yes. Walking distance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
You guys are in a good spot too.
No, it's
Main
great. It's
Street
right off
is
the interstate, man. I mean,
Yeah.
there's never really been a bottle shop on this side of town that's on that level anyway. Like spirits and, beer. It's kind of like when you're like 18 and you start thinking about like, well, who am I going to buy weed from?
right.
And then you end up being the one to sell weed. Like, that's how I feel about beer. You know what I mean? It's like, I never really imagined that I would be the one to facilitate this situation, but
Yeah.
here we are. Like I took the charge, and
Yeah.
again, like we're known for our barrel picks, and now we're known for beer, so that's tight too.
It's
Oh, yeah.
ridiculous how you walk in and every single one of those beers. Number one, it's definitely the way it's set up is it's not overwhelming because it's done by style and then it's done by brewery. So if you know what you're looking for or if you know what you want, it's easy to go in and say, this is what I'm looking for. But on top of that, the selection is ridiculous in terms of what you can get there. And then on top of that, you can buy any single one of the beers you want in cans as singles. You can buy as many as you want. And that's what I feel like is Nashville's growing in terms of that, but we still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
It's still like for selfish reasons. Like I don't necessarily want to spend $25 on a 4-pack myself. Sometimes I just want to try one of one thing.
Right.
So.
And you'll spend $6 on a can.
Yeah, I'd rather do that,
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's not to say that I wouldn't buy 4 of something, but like if you're trepidatious, the likelihood of you buying something is, higher if you can buy 1 of something.
Yep.
Yeah, very true. I would love to. Most 4-packs, especially if they're reaching the $20 range.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to try it
Yeah.
first because it burns a hole. So
Yeah.
craft beer, love it, but also hate it when it comes to budget.
It's too damn high.
Hobby.
The prices of craft
It's
beer
too damn high.
Bringing that old meme back.
That's right.
Good news is if you're broke, there's always cheap beer too.
That's true. That's true.
And there's good cheap beer too.
Oh man, love my hams.
That's right. Hams.
Yeah, you can't get hams down here anymore.
Nope. Unfortunately.
But you can still get Bud Heavy and Coors Banquet. I fuck with
Yeah.
Coors Banquet. Coors
Good old
Banquet is the
Coors
best,
Banquet.
That's the best, the best domestic
Dude.
macro lager. Coors
Yeah.
Banquet. I will
So-
defend Coors Banquet until the day I
Coors
die.
Banquet.
I will challenge Coors Banquet then. So we did a economy beer based kind of review in the past, and it's due time.
Yeah. You talking about we need to do it again?
Yeah, man, we need to do it again. And
All
if
right.
you want in with Coors Banquet,
down.
I'll bring what my favorite select is, and you too.
What's yours?
Richard.
What's your favorite?
Right now?
You asked him that question.
Right now, I'm more malt liquor based. I really like that King Cobra,
King Cobra.
dude.
we had a ton of King Cobra. We had Mickey's. The B.
I don't know if you can get Mickey. I think didn't they cut Mickey's? I saw that whoever does Mickey's and fuck. Oh my god. So whatever brand does like a lot of malt liquor, they just cut like a lot of their name brands.
Oh shit!
I don't think that Mickey's is being made anymore. Actually.
Shit.
Yeah.
I might have to like figure out from a few sources if they have
Maybe
any
Total
left.
Bev is just selling out of their existing
Google-
supply.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Yeah.
Probably worth a Google. I don't know.
But
That's right.
the last time we did it, I think the worst one that we had on hand was Bud Ice.
Bud
I think
Ice.
that was rated the least.
Keystone is.
Was
Keystone
Keystone part of our
bugaboo.
selection? I can't
Keystone is
remember.
another one of the brands
I don't think
that
it was.
got cut. Actually.
Yeah.
Keystone did.
Keystone.
That was a big name growing up.
Yeah.
Man. I wonder. Shit.
I don't know. Maybe
So-
it's due time for another one.
It is. With all these cuts, we need to bring it back in and see what's up.
Do another cheap beer session.
Yeah, and there's a few I want to put into the ringer as well, just as a surprise. Maybe we'll put something together where everyone brings a few of them. And,
Time for a refresher.
yeah.
Well, how about closing thoughts? Mitch, I'll start with you.
They were good beers. Mine sucked.
No, it's fine.
It
It is what it is.
It was a surprise. I think I amped them up too much in my head.
Gotta
to,
keep
like,
them fresh,
wait and
man.
wait
You
and
just
wait.
gotta drink them, man.
Yeah, dude.
IPAs are meant to be drank quick.
They really are. I didn't take the advice soon enough, man.
As soon as they're in the can, they're good to go.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some IPAs that are a little green that probably need to sit on for like a week or two, but for the most part, IPAs, you have like a. For me personally, I'm also like a can whore, like a date whore.
Yeah.
Because of what I do, I see so many cans, and like whenever I bring a case in, like I always text reps. I'm like, you got to go to the warehouse and like let me know what the fucking canning date is. Like I'm not gonna bring this in unless I know how fresh it is.
Smart.
So like for me personally, like IPAs, if it's 5 weeks old, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's already hopped out because
It's wise.
even if that beer is great, like there's also something else on the shelf that's fresher.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't care how good, to go back to it, like
Yeah.
home style, maybe like a fucking 6-month home style might still taste good, but it might not taste as good as the Three Floyds double that's packaged 10 days before, you know what I mean?
Right.
Right. Very true. Yeah, that's very true.
It's IPAs are the one game. You gotta catch those hops fresh. you know?
Yeah.
Gotta catch them all.
You gotta catch them all. You gotta catch them all quick though.
Damn it.
That was a nerd plug. I didn't mean to do that.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
I love Pokemon, man.
Yeah.
But I also love beer, and I should have drank it when I caught it.
It's all good. Aaron, closing thoughts.
I like beer.
Beer.
Beer's good.
That's probably the best closing thoughts we've had before.
Concise.
Yep.
Consistent.
I like beer and I drink beer. And that's all it is. Those are the 3 points.
Cheers to beer.
Yeah. I can't say anything else more to that. I think it's been a good time tonight. We crushed a bunch of beers.
One thing I'll say is, like, thank you, Smokers Abbey, for
Yeah,
providing
Smokers Abbey
space.
again.
Shout out to Smokers
If you're
Abbey.
ever in Nashville, Smokers Abbey is the spot. Cigars and draft beer, like they always have fun stuff on. Barrel aged
Yeah.
shit, locals, like rotators.
pipe tobacco's on point too.
Great
Hell yeah.
imports, yeah, like super boutique humidor. You're not gonna find like you're not gonna find court cafes at fucking or Cuba Cubas at
Yep.
Smoker's Abbey.
That's true.
Oh, acid Cuba Cubas. Is that what you're talking about? The Drew Estate acids?
You're not gonna find
Yeah.
Cuba Cubas.
Dude.
You're not gonna find Javas at Smoker's Abbey.
No, it's been good.
Yeah, no doubt. Like the first time I came here, it was because I saw Room 101 was served here. It's the only place that Room 101 is provided for
Just
in
in the
Nashville, as
area.
far as I know. And then the second time I came here, I was looking for pipe tobacco, and they provided me with the intel to get the good stuff
Yeah.
that they knew they were going to sell out in
Yeah.
a matter of time. And that stuff proved to be amazing.
Was that the stuff that you and I split?
Yeah,
It was
I
a
wish I
craft
remembered
tobacco.
the name. Yes,
I
it
don't
was a very
remember it
craft.
either, but it was. I've got about 2 bowls left on
Dude,
it,
it
and it
was-
is killer.
It was amazing. So I trust every single word they say when it comes to tobacco.
Yep.
It's-
Nate and Josh, like all those
Yes.
dudes, they know their shit. And when also spirits, I've set it up with Smoker's Abbey. Pretty soon they're going to be doing pours of Main Street's barrel picks here.
Oh man,
We're gonna hold back barrel pick bottles for bourbon.
That would be great.
So that distros can allocate bottles to Smoker's Abbey.
amazing.
So you know, again, like they've got great whiskey too. Like, now that they have their like liquor license, they have Taylor and Weller and a lot of other cool eclectic stuff. You know
Oh,
that
man.
you should certainly check out.
It's definitely kind of the one-stop shop in the area
Sure
for
is.
everything good that you're looking for, and just kind of hanging out here in the back and chilling out and being able to talk today with Aaron
Chill
from Main
vibes.
Street. Like, definitely
Very.
chill vibes. We had a lot of good beer. We had some good cigars today. We've had good vibes. Aaron, man, it's been a pleasure.
Tip your servers.
We appreciate
Definitely.
it. Tip your tip your servers.
Tip your servers.
Tip your servers accordingly. It's been a good time. It's been a good evening. And I think at this point we're out. If you're not drinking beer, start drinking beer. If you are drinking beer, keep drinking beer. If you've never had craft beer before, Smoker's Abbey is a good place to get some. And Main Street Liquors is probably going to have one of the best selections that you've ever seen in Nashville. So definitely go hit up Aaron, hit up the guys at Main Street Liquors, get you some singles, get you some 4-packs, some 6-packs, whatever the case is, get your craft beer fixed. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Cheers to Aaron and cheers to everybody.
Tip your servers.